I'm old enough to remember when this came out.
Hello, hello. I was gonna wait until we get some more followers in just so I could answer any questions you guys might have. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So this live is gonna be more like a rant more than anything. So it's not like anything planned through or anything like that. So any questions are welcomed. But I basically wanted to talk about dark femininity and female sexuality and its divinity and how it's been shunned and demonized pretty much since the beginning of time. I believe it started like with religious and stuff like that, religious people, but the fear of female sexuality has really led a lot of people's morals and the way people view themselves and how they view their women counterparts. Really, for the most part, men, honestly, in my opinion. As we all know, a lot of men think through the Madonna whore complex. So, female sexuality for a lot of them is kind of hard for them to grasp. I think that even when you're talking to guys that happen to be feminist or whatever, and they understand the plight of women for the most part, even they still can't grasp that, even though they are an ally and they are a feminist as a male, that they still have certain inclinations towards women that subconsciously they just can't help for some reason. And I'm pretty sure it is the Madonna whore complex. So, if you guys don't know, the Madonna whore complex basically means that where a man loves, he cannot lust, and where he lusts, he cannot love. I've even heard stories of, this has actually happened to me before. I've even heard stories of guys, once they realize they really, really like a girl, like she's the one, like she's my dream girl, they can't sexualize her anymore. Like something will happen where, let's say, if they go on like a couple of dates and things are getting steamy, he will refuse to have sex with her because he knows once he does it, he cannot like her the same anymore. So he'll find something else to do. And I've literally had a guy tell me that. So it's definitely something that I've noticed. Oh, hi, Bella Ray. I was hoping I would still be up. I didn't want to go live and everybody sleep, but I am a night owl, so I've been trying to go live during the day, y'all. I really do, but I would have to be more plans for that because I just feel like I have more energy at night. So I'm glad you guys are awake. If you have any questions again, let me know because I know some of this stuff is like second nature to me because I've been studying it for a while. But I understand for like the average person is not into this stuff. It can be a little bit confusing. And I did have some people say they could not follow my last live. So I wanted to get like some pictures and stuff so you guys can see and have more of like a visual. But when it does come to the, oh wait, what you say? I just happened to be on and saw you. Oh, cool. We follow each other on IG. Do we? I don't know. I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram. I barely ever post. So if you see somebody with just pictures of their dog and me, it's probably me. um, but yeah, I barely ever post on IG. I feel like I'd be on TikTok nowadays more because it's just more stuff on TikTok. Only thing with TikTok though is that once you start scrolling, you really can't stop. And I remember just scrolling, and somebody made a video, hey, stop scrolling, go to sleep. And I was like, dang, I really have been scrolling for like hours. That's the only thing with TikTok that's like insane. But oh, maybe it's not me. Okay. Yeah, my Instagram is not popping. Um, yeah, I was never really good at that. I know people tell me all the time, like, the way I look, why don't you do this? You should be an actress. You should do that. But I'm not into like pictures and stuff like that. People like on my social media think I'm a catfish. Like, I've had people tell me, take a picture with a spoon, take a picture with a fork, go live, or you're a catfish, especially men. So that's one of my issues. TikTok make you anxious? Why? It is a lot going on. It's a lot going on. People on there, they be quick to just get at you if you say something they don't like. But yeah, so when it comes to dark femininity, I feel like the part of it that is so misunderstood is the power in it and how a lot of people use it, especially men. One thing I find crazy is men use dark femininity because everybody has a little bit of masculine, everybody has a little bit of feminine, and it's more than just your gender or the way you dress or how you choose to show up in the world. It's really about how your own energetic signature accesses the world. So you can be a guy, you can be 6 foot, you could go to the gym every day and still have divine feminine energy. Maybe you're an artist, maybe you're just a very charismatic guy. You know what I mean? So it's definitely levels to things. There's so many infomercials I should sell, and oh yeah, I have noticed that. I usually just go past those. So, mm-mm-mm. But yeah, I definitely have noticed like even women, and when I say a woman's masculine, again, she could be petite, she could have a squeaky voice and wear dresses and still have masculine energy because of the way she chooses to move through the world, how she chooses to access things, um, how she chooses to use her power. It can definitely be in a masculine way. So what I basically mean by that, how men will use feminine energy, things like little shit. Like, you know how niggas be sassy nowadays. Niggas be so sassy. But some of the things are more covert. Like I've seen men do, like, I know this one guy, instead of asking for something, he would insinuate. He would hit you with the, oh, I could really use this da 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 da. And then, me, I just be in my own world. If you don't tell me, I'm probably not going to hear you. But he just kept saying it. So I'm like, oh, like, do you need da 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 da? He's like, "Ugh, finally. I'm like, oh, you sassy. You know what I mean? That's something I should be doing. So some of these guys, they're definitely in their divine feminine bag. Really. Yeah, both energies do exist in everyone, most definitely. There's also something like an androgynous energy, which a lot of women use. People like Cleopatra, stuff like that, where you basically want to be in. I kind of brushed on this in my last live, but um I think I kind of came off a little bit too blunt because I said something like transgender or hermaphrodites are divine. And I know the average person was like, bitch, what? But what I meant was being able to host both energies is a divinity because they're not separate. Here on planet Earth, in these bodies they are, but they're not. That's why we're still connected to one another. So that's basically what I was trying to say. I know that came off a little bit crazy, so I wanted to make a little bit more sense this time. But when you do go back to the story of Adam and Eve, a lot of people don't know the story of Lilith, and I'm not gonna act like I know her whole story because I don't. But I just feel like her energy, it's just always been like around someone like me, a girl like me. I have a Scorpio moon, so just dark things have always caught my attention. Now when it comes to Lilith, she was the first wife to Adam, and you can look up her story. It's different for everyone, but long story short, Adam wanted her to be beneath him when they were, doing the do. And she was like, no, like, I want to be on top. And I guess that caused a rift. And they just labeled her like a demon, succubus, whatever. Say she can go be with the devil and all them. So it definitely reminds me of that when I think of dark feminine energy and just being able to access things for yourself, you know. Now, there's something else that I don't think people call this like what I call it. I like to call it Eve energy versus Lilith energy. Now, again, the same way male and female is really meant to be together. That's why a child is the most beautiful thing in the world because it's the combination of those two things. Um, when it comes to the energies, I've noticed that a lot of people feel like they have to choose. They have to choose between, do I want to be a Eve? Do I want to be a trad wife and do it all, the guys on Fresh and Fit are telling me to do? Or do I want to be a Lilith? Which can be just as extreme. Do you want to be an SW? Do you want to be on 304 TikTok? And I feel like a lot of women feel like, well, they don't have the choice or something like that. And I definitely compare the Eve energy and the Lilith energy to the Madonna whore complex, but just in a more feminine way. When it comes to the Madonna whore complex, it's really just through the male gaze. It's really, are you the wifey type? Do you got good credit? You gonna pay half my bills? You gonna have my babies? You gonna take me to court? You gonna put me on child support? That's how niggas see it. Versus, just a girl that's there just for fun. Um, they'll definitely be like more open and honest with these girls because it really sex is an energetic connection. So and I know some girls will be like, oh, like you're just a side chick, da 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 da. You'd be surprised because when a guy feels comfortable with you, he'll tell you certain things. Now I've never been a side chick, at least not knowingly, but I definitely have like had male friends and stuff that have opened up to me and stuff like that. And I have worked in the sex worker industry as well. So just a combination of those two, jobs and wherever. I already told you guys when the men aren't our friends, what are he using you for? Lust or labor? I'm not their friends either. So if a guy's in my life, it's for a reason. So when just whether it's a brother, a guy friend or whatever, I definitely listen to them when they speak, especially when they're talking about women, about other women they're not attracted to. So let's say you're my brother, you're a male friend, I know you're married or something. The way you speak about women in my presence is how I know the guys that like me are speaking about me when I'm not in their presence. You know what I mean? So that's definitely something I noticed. Um, You said you can be all of them. Yes, most definitely. I think it's definitely kind of hard to find like a sweet medium for a lot of people, depending on what you want. But you definitely need to access both of these energies to feel like a whole woman sometimes, you know? And I think I don't want to be too extreme. You don't have to be like a trad wife or a sex worker. You can find your sweet medium, whatever that is. But lately, a lot in the media, I have been seeing a lot of people pushing certain narratives on people. And I think a part of it is good. But the thing with the trad wife thing that really confuses me, now I'm used to men trying to push that stuff on women, but I've noticed other women pushing it on women too. And I'm like, girl, like, what you want us to do? Go back to the 1960s? Like, what do you mean? And I've been noticing, like, for the people that aren't sex worker friendly, and they have like something against OnlyFans girls and stuff like that. Um, it just they'll say things like, "Oh, that the media, the TikTok, it turned everyone sexual," which I do believe. I don't think anyone should be like exploiting themselves or allowing people to take advantage of them or selling themselves short or anything like that. But I do think female sexuality is very powerful, and for the people that do choose to blame this generation, one, people have been horny since the beginning of time. Okay? People have been horny forever. Before there were even cameras, there was porn. You would be surprised. In fact, Barbie. Do you want to know how Barbie was created? By a sex doll in Russia. Her name was like Biddy or something like that. Men used to carry little dolls just to have a woman or the presence of the imagination of a woman near them. You know? So for a long time we haven't been able to access our own sexual energy, and if we have, it has been shamed. So I just wanted to get into the nuance of that because a lot of people feel like it's a little bit OD, when it comes to female sexuality nowadays. And there are some things I definitely don't agree with, but what I just find funny is, and what I often tell a lot of men, is that you deserve someone that is equally yoked to you. So if you're the type of guy that like runs around the city and will sleep with anyone, you deserve a woman with an equal body count to you. But lately, men, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the red pill, fresh and fit, Kevin Samuels. I don't know what it is. But lately, men have been obsessed with the idea of finding someone under 25 and like with a zero count body. And they're grown men. And I'm just like, one, you're not going to find that unless like you run in circles where people value that type of thing, celibacy, or you're dealing with a child. And we all know you don't value celibacy. So I've been noticing for a lot of men, the Madonna, no, this has existed forever. But when it comes to the Madonna whore complex, I just see like a rise of it lately. Like really. Especially like in girls' comments, like a girl will say something political that some guys don't agree with, and they'll say something like, "Oh, like what's the OF link?" And she doesn't even have one, just to remind her that she's a woman, like her opinion doesn't matter and stuff like that. So I've definitely found that stuff really weird. And even when it comes to Halle Bailey, a lot of people love the idea of Halle and Ruby Rose not liking each other. And it's definitely the Madonna whore complex to me. A lot of people are saying Halle cannot be DDG's type because, he dated, an OF model in the past. And I just remember thinking, how are you gonna tell that man what his type is? Like them are some, oh hi Ditsy Brats. How you gonna tell that man what his type is? Them are some bad bitches. Like, what do you mean? But I remembered it's not about the look or how decent these women are. They both seem like really nice girls. It's about the Madonna whore complex. And now people are posting things like, oh, the Bailey sisters are ran through. Hallie's not so innocent anymore. And I'm like, oh, so that's what it is. The squeaky voice in the Disney princess booking is what made y'all, project that Madonna aesthetic onto her, which I think can be great. The good girl gone bad thing can be great. And if you are, considered a good girl, hold on to that. Because once you go back, there's no going back. And that's how the Madonna whore complex works. So it's easy to go from Madonna to whore, but you can't go from whore to Madonna. That's the thing. And that's why when men do see sex workers, especially sex workers that enjoy their jobs, they try to like they already know they can't hurt you by calling you a whore. Because let's say you're Eve, and you post a sexy picture. He could be like, "Oh, you're this, you're that, da 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 da." But what if you really are that? She's gonna be like, "Thank you." What are you gonna do? So now they have to find other ways to like, hurt these women and stuff like that. So I've definitely noticed that as well. Hello, I think you should learn when to be who. It keeps the game exciting. This keeps the flow state. Picking one energy over the other increase the risk of making daily mistakes. Definitely. Most definitely. And that medium can is different for everyone depending on your lifestyle. People just need to people need their view to be correct. It's not about the person they're really projecting onto. Yes. 110%. I remember one time when I first discovered the Madonna whore complex. I already knew it was a thing, but I didn't know there was a name for it. I actually discovered this terminology from the movie Melena. I think it's like a French film, great movie. I wanted to do like a video essay about it, but it's so long, so it's probably going to take a while. But that really put me onto this because that movie in the beginning, she's like a wife and everything, but people are looking at her like women are jealous of her, men want to sleep with her, and she's not even doing anything sexual. She's literally just being a human being, and it's like all eyes on her. And the way the director shoots it is literally through the male gaze. And basically, you never see Milena as like a human being. Someone is always watching her. We don't see her in the film unless eyes are on her, and that's literally how it feels being a pretty girl. And this is why I did my video on ugly privilege because that shit can be exhausting when you go somewhere and it's like a 360 view of people just watching you. So being beautiful is very brave, and I know a lot of people don't see it that way, but it really is. Um, so if you guys haven't seen the movie Melina, you might want to watch it if you're into like slow films. I don't know if they have it in English, but if you're into like slow films and stuff like that, you might enjoy it. Exactly reminds me of victim blaming. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. People say that shit all the time, like to rape victims. Oh, what were you wearing? People always make men's violence based off their rejection, based off their attraction to women, women's fault. So I've definitely noticed that. Elvis Presley is a great example. How so? Learning how to detach is freedom, definitely. But yeah, the movie Millennium is a really good film, but that's definitely how it feels when you're going through that type of male gaze thing because it feels like it doesn't really matter who you really are on the inside as a woman. It's all about how they perceive you. It's more than just your clothes. You can be dressed up like a nun, like them Amish girls. and a man will still sexualize onto you. So that whole "what were you wearing" thing, like, what do you mean? Girls been getting SO'd since they was wearing big old dresses and stuff. You know how long it takes to put on and off one of those big old dresses from like the 17th century, and girls were still getting SO'd. It took you 15 minutes to take off that gown, and you didn't think to change your mind yet. So I don't want to hear anything about clothes or anything like that. I know there's this new thing on TikTok, people saying girls are dressing like poster girls. Now, me personally, I dress like a grandma. I love like trench coats and stuff. I don't know. But if a girl wanted to dress like a poster girl, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I think it's beautiful. And I've seen someone else say that if I think it was like a guy who was just trying to be funny, and he was like, "Oh, what would you do if there were no women for a day?" And he said, "Oh, I would burp, drink beer, not shave." And the girls were like, "I would just go for a walk and look at the stars and not have to carry my keys in my hand to use it as a weapon." So a lot of men, they don't understand stuff like that. Essa is definitely about taking power, most definitely. Like what he did with Priscilla. Oh, he didn't want her after she gave birth because he saw her as too pure. Yep, that's definitely the Madonna complex. And it's sad because you don't even really have to be one or the other, you know? You can be, a little kinky person, but if a guy sees you as a good girl because he met you at the library, it's going to blow his mind when you know how to give a blowjob, and he's going to say, "Who taught you that?" and think you ran through. So, it's really insane. But another thing with like being on like the horror side of the complex is that you might not even be that. I remember when I first discovered this terminology, I would ask guys because I literally use men as science experiments. If a guy's in my life, trust me, I'm getting something from it. It don't even gotta be money or dick. Like I'm getting something from this one way or another. But I was just asking guys that I know, like, hey, would you rather marry a stripper who's a virgin, or a trad wife, but she had a train ran on her, but all the niggas is dead and she'll never tell anybody. Just to see, like, do you want the perception of something pure for your brain to be okay? Or do you genuinely, is it really like a health thing? Because niggas be like, oh, STDs, pair bonding. If you have too many body counts, you can't pair bond, as if that's a thing. But, I was really wondering, like, what's the psychology behind it? And all of them said they would rather do the girl that, wears dresses and sweaters and go to church every day and stuff like that, who had a train run on her if no one ever knew. At first, they picked the version stripper because they heard the word version and went, "Ooh, ding, 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 we got one, boys." But I had to add the context, like, no, she's a stripper. So people have seen her inner parts. Titties is on Instagram, but she's a virgin. Will you wife her? And they all said no. Meaning, it's really about the perception, meaning it's ego. So that was just like a little experiment I did. You guys can go around asking questions like that too. If you do it briefly enough, they won't know that you're using them as a science experiment. But if you ask too many, they'll be like, "What?" And they'll catch on and probably try to change the answer. But that definitely works for me. Yeah, and it really all goes back to um, Adam, Eve, and Lilith. So I suggest you guys look into that story if you're interested in it. And another way that this relates to, oh wait, I got a comment. Being beautiful is brave, goddess of war, strategy, wisdom, Athena. She was a beauty according to the myth. I actually think it is fitting we have the rise of Aphrodite with all the exoticals. So cool. One thing about that is I've always loved Greek mythology, and because I am a black girl and I be like in the spiritual community sometimes, people be trying to say like, "Oh, you need to do African spirituality and you need to deal with the Orishas." And I have nothing really against it. Honestly, I know all these entities and energies are different, but for the most part, they're pretty much the same archetype. You know what I mean? Oshun and Aphrodite aren't the same, obviously, but same difference for, in layman terms. But when it comes to, and what I really love about Exoticals United is that she really put me on to things spiritual that I didn't notice, and I don't even think she meant to do it. But I did a video on what was it? I think I called it global appeal, like universal appeal, in terms of like looks and stuff like that. And actually, I think I have a video. Let's see if I can play it. I tried to be prepared this time, y'all. Let's see if I got the video. And I'm gonna come back and try to explain it.
I'm old enough to remember when this came out. the issue of National Geographic where she was on the cover and they were like, this is what the average American will look like in 2050. And it's 2024 and I feel like we're already here. I know about 5 people who look like this. Like, and let me say this, race is a crazy thing. And maybe sometime in the future, the issue of what race is and what race you are will be debated because everybody looks like that. But I'll tell you this, there will still be colorism. Because no matter where you go in the world, if you're Asian, if you're Latino, Middle Eastern, African, there's still colorism. And a lot of y'all are gonna have to start pulling up pictures of your grandma to prove you're black or something. Because again, I know like 5 people who look like this. And they were saying this is what the average American will look like in 2050. I honestly want to see their prediction now. Because this is Madison. She lived down the street. Like, what?
Okay. So that video, it was super funny, but that's definitely something I tried to touch on in my last video, my last live video. But when it comes to global appeal and looking ambiguous, those two things are so connected. And I wanted to take race and like I feel like when it comes to girls and colorism, people get a lot more heated. So I wanted to use Michael Jackson as an example. A lot of people, and I really don't care what your opinion is, you're entitled to it, but this is just something that I found like a missing link that can really explain a lot of things, like in the spiritual realm. But when it comes to Michael Jackson, a lot of people feel like, he hated himself and he didn't want to be black. And I'm not saying there weren't inklings of that. Two things can be true at once. But what I noticed is Michael Jackson was the only artist who had global appeal. I think to this day, he's the only artist who has that type of universal attraction. You know what I mean? And I don't think that, you know, the dark skinned Michael with the big nose, I don't think he would have gotten that. Not just because of racism, but and someone else commented this in my last video about him that she said something like, oh, I don't think he was trying to look white. I think he was trying to look like a woman. And I was like, well, ding, 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 there it is. So when it comes to like race and gender, I feel like in a few years, the topics are going to change so much because what even is gender? I could be a nigga tomorrow if I wanted to. Nobody could stop me, you know? So, and when it comes to race, between like, whether you're bleaching, tanning, mixing up your bloodline, what is going to be race in 100 years? Like, think about it. You know what I mean? So that video really like made me think about like spiritualism and about feminine energy, masculine energy, white and black skin, and racially ambiguous skin, or aka safe brown skin, and how spiritually that connects with people. You know what I mean? If you ever notice like those commercials like about toothpaste or razors or just anything that is considered, something you have to buy often, they always show something that has a racially ambiguous look. Always. You can't really tell what race it is. And I realized that at first I thought they were just using beautiful people, like, oh, of course they're going to use beautiful people on TV. But then I realized, no, they're using exoticals. Literally. You know? That's a very good observation. Thank you. Yeah, so that's definitely something that I noticed. And I definitely like to play into that. I wouldn't consider myself like any type of, I don't know what they would call it now. I do support the gays and stuff like that. But I don't know the proper term. So if I say something wrong, just let me know. Hi, Aries goddess. I'm an Aries too. But so when it comes to like they, them and stuff like that, I don't really identify as anything like that. But I definitely know how to tap into my masculine energy because I'm an Aries. That's a very masculine sign. And the way I deal with things is very masculine at times. And I remember one time I was talking to this guy and he told me, he was like, you talk like a mob boss. And I was cracking the fuck up because I really do. Especially to men. I have like a short temper with men. So if I'm not like enjoying whatever's going on, I can be like really not like angry and like abrasive or anything, but just short tempered. Like I talk like a customer service lady. Like I do not be giving these niggas energy, y'all. Like really. Um, so when it comes to me, I can be definitely in my masculine energy a lot, and that has allowed me. And then I am bisexual, so I think that just between those two things, being attracted to women, being able to access my masculine energy at will, especially more than like the average woman, I feel sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm able to see through the male gaze, and sometimes when I'm looking like through the lens of a man, it is understandable. Like, I mean, fuck these niggas, but think about it. Picture being born needing something. that other people have access to, and you can be rejected for it every single day. And I know that sounds like some incel talking, but with any other, as human beings, we need food, we need water, we need shelter, we need comfort, we need intimacy, and men are literally hardwired to need that from us, not just sex, intimacy. Because if you ask sex workers, they're not just getting paid to get bent over. Eve's, aka girls that feel like, they have to be the Madonna of in the Madonna horror complex, they always think that sex workers are just being bent over, like, oh, you're doing the dirty work, but I got the deed to the house. A lot of men be kissing these sex workers, kissing, cuddling, spending the night, opening up about their feelings. Like, you'd be surprised. Oh, you're also bi? That's cute. But yeah, so that's another thing. And this is another thing that I was trying to say earlier. I don't care how much a nigga get online and talk shit about women. They know when to respect the divine. These niggas will tell you you're a single mother, you're never gonna be anything in life, you're gonna die alone with cats, and then go see a sex worker and go see a dominatrix and she putting panties on him and calling him a bitch boy. I cannot make this shit up. I cannot make this shit up. In fact, there was this one guy, this Indian guy or something, or Arabic, I don't know. He was on some type of TV show on Netflix. If you guys remember, let me know. His name was Murad Morelli or something like that. And he would go to all these Black Lives Matter events. He would be like, I'm not black, but I'm brown, so I can say nigga, Black Lives Matter. Did all this shit, all of this pandering. And then a sex worker exposed him, a male sex worker, an Asian boy exposed him, and he was saying the N word. He was doing race play. Race play is where people be, a little bit racist when they play. So, and then you're supposed to be the Black Lives Matter nigga. So a nigga will say something in broad daylight and be doing the opposite in the darkness. So that's definitely something I picked up on. Whatever a nigga trying to convince you he is, he probably the opposite. You remember him? Girl. Who I didn't really know who he was before that, but all them videos of him doing like humiliation and just doing weird stuff to people. You supposed to be the nigga to uplift people. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Peace, love, and positivity. And you over here humiliating, degrading people, human beings. So that's when I knew you really can't listen to niggas for real. It's insane. But let's see. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. So, if anyone's curious, what led me down this rabbit hole to learn all this stuff spiritually was the movie Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks. Top tier, one of my favorite films of all time. And when I was listening to the film, and I actually went ahead and read the book by Dan Brown and the book that inspired his book by someone that lives like in France, um, I realized that when I was reading this information, it didn't feel like I was learning it for the first time. It felt like I was remembering it. And that's when I knew, like, okay, I'm going to have to dedicate some time to doing some information on this. So if you guys haven't seen the film Da Vinci Code, oh, wait, I got some comments. He said black men page. Yes, yeah, they do. They love it. Oh my God, I wish y'all knew. I just wish you knew. And I said this in my last video. If you guys watch Family Guy, there's a character named Quagmire, and every morning he pays a woman to kick him in the balls. And Peter Griffin is like, what is this? Some new kinky shit you want to? And Quagmire hit him with the no, this is just a way I pay my respect. I know I'm a terrible person. So I just have someone, punish me for it so that when I'm, perving on some teenage girls, I don't feel so guilty. So the same niggas that's throwing you on this crazy shit, I promise you, they are finding ways to respect the divine feminine. And these niggas is what they call them bucked. They buck break them. Black men would get on the internet. I'm a king, and will literally pay to be treated like a peasant. I cannot make this shit up. I think men secretly have a desire to be dominated, but not many women are taught how, which explains the DL epidemic. Um, and stuff's in the bow and the bow's Christianity. Oh yeah, and it's all connected because the thing is, yeah, it is insane. It's all connected because the thing is, this is why it's so many transgender. You ever notice something about the transgender? Why they all want to be girls? Where the new niggas at? I would love some new niggas. Where the new niggas at? Ain't no new niggas. Don't nobody want to be a nigga. Niggas don't want to be niggas. Let me stop saying nigga. Men don't want to be men. They are in their soft girl era. You ever wonder why? Yeah. So I personally feel like when it comes to men being in their soft girl era, when it comes to men not wanting to, men want flowers and they want to be taken on dates nowadays. One, I feel like, you know, there's so many benefits to being a man, you know, and there's benefits to being a woman too. But I feel like men have felt like the benefits have not outweighed the work, if that makes sense. So a lot of men are just tapping out. They're saying, how come I gotta pay for the date? How come I gotta do this? How come I gotta do that? A lot of men are just tapping out at this point. And I feel like another version of that is men know what they've done spiritually and physically to the world, and they no longer want to be a part of it anymore. They don't want to be held responsible for what they've done, if that makes sense. You guys heard the term destiny swapping, I'm sure. There's a way to do that with karma, and there's a way to evade karma. If you know someone who is constantly changing their names, they have a million and one nicknames. Maybe they're jumping from city to city, and they like the guy from Risa Tisa, that guy. He had like Legion. He had like 10 different names. And a lot of men will evade their responsibilities. And I feel like that's what some of the transgender stuff is like. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. I don't think everybody's like fake or anything. I do believe you can end up in the wrong body, or how your energy is. You have a lot of feminine energy, but you're in a man's body. I do believe in that. But at the same time, I feel like most of this is just evading accountability and not wanting to be here when the hammer of justice comes down. I've definitely noticed that when it comes to race and gender. And that's why so many people are becoming women and want to be women. And that's why and there's always been like selective breeding and stuff like that. But that's why people are getting a lot more serious when it comes to divesting or just dating out passport bros, preferences, stuff like that. When it comes to gender and race, you're going to see a lot of different things happening. I don't even think it's going to be in our lifetime, honestly. But when it comes to these things, the topics and conversations we have now won't be here anymore, because essentially gender and race as we know it won't be here anymore. So that's something I've always found interesting. And when it comes to race and religion, I think that and I wanted to find you guys another video. I might have to do a long form video for that. I don't know if I can do it on a live, but there's a story of how white people were created, and I'm just to compress the story. Basically, they were created for a reason, because the black man did something to, disgrace and humiliate the black woman, and the only way to, alleviate this curse is to be there for the black woman. Obviously that's never going to happen, hopefully. Hopeful and wishful thinking, but whenever black men have a test to be there for black women, they kind of fail. And that's why they are, I really don't listen to Cynthia G. She be saying some crazy stuff sometime, but I can't act like everything she says is a lie. She be saying stuff like a king with no kingdom and stuff like that, and you can't say that's not a lie. And then I remember, I'm actually going to try to find this picture for you guys, because I remember Chrissy actually posting it. And let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. But it was basically like a picture of a painting. And it was by like a really famous painter back in the day. And basically in the picture you can see a whole bunch of people, dancing and doing whatever. There's a lot going on in the picture. But all the black men are like with white women. And she was basically equating that to, because people were saying, oh, black men are kings, da 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 da, everything was fine before child support and home health home health checks or stuff like that, like where people would say there was no man in the household to get like a check, and then they would get on food stamps and like housing and stuff like that. So the men were basically saying everything was okay before the 80s, the crack epidemic, before women were getting checks for not having a man in the household. Even if you had a man in the household, you would have to say you didn't have a man in the household to get that check. So a lot of black men feel like they were just stand-up guys before the 80s. And she basically pulled up the picture of that painting to say, like, no, ever since like the 16th century, black men, even African men, really have not been there for their people, you know? And a lot of black Americans feel this way. I know it's not that simple, and Africa is a big place and there's a lot of different continents, but a lot of black Americans do feel like if and I'm sure other people of the diaspora feel this way as well. If Africa is such a big place and Europe is so small, how were they able to conquer the world? You know, all these wars, World War I, World War III, all these different wars, but Africa and Europe never went to war for black people. So that's definitely something I noticed. So when it comes to like race and gender and economics and systematic racism and spirituality, there's a lot of connections that a lot of people miss out on because they're not willing to see the full picture. And even as Shira 7, she did a video where she said she went to Nigeria and there was a giant statue of white Jesus, and she asked them, white Jesus statue in Nigeria. Why? And they told her, black man, black Jesus equals black man. Black man doesn't have money. White Jesus equals white man. The white man has money. So we pray to white Jesus. She literally said that in one of her videos. Um, so that's definitely a lot of the connections that I feel like some people overlook when it comes to these conversations. Cynthia's back on YouTube. I did see that. I was gonna try to watch her live stream, but that shit was so long. So I'm gonna try to watch it later. What was she talking about though? Do you know? Because I'm wondering did her account get like taken down or something, and if they brought it back, but she's not allowed to talk about certain stuff. So I have watched a lot of her videos. I mean, some of that stuff was like when she talks about like exoticals and preferences, I feel like that was really inconsiderate. But just like her overall talking points on black men and how they're kind of like a lost cause. Um, I'm not gonna say I 100% agree with that, but I don't not 99% agree with that, you know. So, but I heard like things that came out. They said she was dating a black guy, and I feel like I don't know if you guys know this lady. Her name is Six the Goddess. She is so pretty. Oh my god. Um, no, like she's really really pretty. But her name is Six the Goddess, and she's more like the opposite of Cynthia G. She talked about Diddy and Halle Berry's drama with DDG. That's a hot topic. But Six the Goddess, she has a cool YouTube channel. She's more like Pan African and stuff like that. But she's kind of like when I discovered her and Cynthia G around the same time. And Cynthia G, she would basically say, give up on black men, divest, do this. And then Six to Goddess, she would be like, girl, you want a mayonnaise man? No, you need to get a good black man and just do vetting better. And if you give up on the black community, you're basically like you're a coon. So yeah, Six to Goddess. I think it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just her name on YouTube, Six to Goddess. Really pretty lady. Yeah, she was gone for months, but she's on Patreon. Six to God is called. Oh, she did. Oh, she, no, you see, when it comes to Six, maybe I let her. This is pretty privileged in real life time, ladies, because I let her looks overpower some of her statements sometimes. She is so pretty, but I don't subscribe to her channel anymore, and I was going to get to that because they're both extremists to me. They're both extremists, and when it comes to her, Six to Goddess, she's really serious about Six of Goddess hates MLS women. She's extremely city. Yeah, yeah. I discovered both their channels at the same time. But this is how I did. I thought Cynthia G was more like fuck black people, fuck black men, da 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 da. And Six was she really supports black men. She act like black men could do no wrong, and she just wants to teach them how to do better. And she was the first woman that I heard use the term poor pussy management. So she likes to be kind of like hard on girls and stuff like that. So, and she doesn't hate sex workers, but she's not pro sex worker friendly. She thinks like an Eve. Six the Goddess, she's an Eve. That's a bad bitch, but she's an Eve. She feels like, sex workers are beneath people and they only exist to help men get out all the bad gunk in them and they can come home to the wife and be good men. And I'm like, girl, that's compartmentalizing. That's not healthy. So I kind of had to like unsubscribe from her, but I do watch her videos every now and then. She's very attractive. She's very intelligent. A lot of her points I do agree with. I don't really hate black people. I mean, I love my niggas. You know what I mean? Like I love people, and I'm not gonna act like no black man never been there for me because they have. But the same black guy that gave me a ride, when my tire popped and didn't make a move on me and was nice to me, he probably raped a bitch last week. So just because a nigga nice to you don't mean you can say, well, not my daddy, not my father, not my, you know what I mean? And she definitely come off like one of those girls. Six said her mom is mixed race. What? BWE creators need a full background check before you support them. Yeah, it's getting to that point. But that's the thing. you can support someone and not support everything that they say. You know, you don't. Because for me, like I like Donald Trump, but everybody be like, "Oh, grab her by the pussy." Like, damn, like just because I fuck with the nigga don't mean everything he say I fuck with. You know what I mean? But some people they do feel like that. You love humans in general. That's nice. I mean, that's isn't that what it's supposed to be all about, you know? But that's why I really couldn't get jiggy with either of their content because some things, even if it's right, it's not. You didn't come from that from a good place. Even if you're telling the truth, it's not coming from a good place. So I really can't listen to channels like that. Bella says she's just not a hater. Yeah, I try not to be. Um, but yeah, I love Six. But some of her videos, I didn't know that she was but I knew it. I wouldn't be surprised if her mama was mixed because she come off like Dr. Umar and I love Dr. Umar. I really do. I really just think he's funny to be honest. I don't listen to his shit like that. I just think he's hilarious. The way he be repeating things. But yeah, like when it comes to Dr. Umar, you can't tell me he don't watch white girl porn. I already know what his porn looks like. Like I know what you're into. The whatever somebody is trying to convince you they are, there's a demon in them that's doing the opposite. Maybe not verbatim always 100%, but if someone is trying to sell you on something, chances are it's a scam. And sometimes it's not even that they're lying or nothing like that. Sometimes it's like a dark seated, like rooted thing. Like if I commit to saying, "Oh, I'm never going to eat cake again. I like ice cream anyway. I'll never eat cake again." Now every time I see a cake, I'm tempted. So sometimes people will convince themselves of something and then secretly do something else. And then their character says the opposite. I remember there was just one politician guy. He made it to where gay people couldn't get married the whole time he was gay. So really, you just can't make this shit up. Hey, Sadicals United. Yeah, I am. Yeah, y'all. I was hoping y'all would still be up. I know it's so late. Umar is unserious comedian. He has at least two baby mamas, and one is white. I knew it. I knew it. I already knew it. He like a white, white. You know when people put the H in it, white. He like a white. I'm not even talking Kim Kardashian. I'm talking white. We are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We can all be hypocrites. I mean, in a way, but we can all be hypocritical. Let's say that. But most definitely. So when it comes to Six, I would not be surprised if she was a secret exotical because she pushes this Pan African thing a lot, you know, and she does have really pretty, really pretty brown skin. So I just thought maybe she was like proud of her ethnic features, which she should be. But like sometimes she pushes I don't know. Sometimes she pushes that aesthetic, and it does come off like you're trying to sell me something, you know? You're just in time for me to finish my 10,000 steps. I walk circles at night before bed. Wow. That's so productive. I wish I could be that productive. I don't think I ever walked 10,000 in my life. I don't really like walking like that, but that's amazing. I probably should get into it because, like, I'm in like my mid 20s and I feel like this is the time, you know? They say this is when the collagen goes down and it's harder to lose weight. I lose weight pretty easy, but it's getting to that time. It's about that time. Are you guys super healthy? I want to know. I want to know how unhealthy I am. Like, do you guys exercise like a lot? Because like I be hearing people talk about big bag beluga whales, and I gotta look over my shoulder like, wait a minute, is that me? No. I would say like I'm more like mid-sized, but I definitely want to be healthier. I feel like I actually do love exercise. I love salad. It's just like I don't know if I'm sitting on the couch and I think, oh, gym sounds nice. I just won't do it. But if I actually make myself go to the gym, I'll really enjoy it. So I don't know why I do that. I still need to check her out. I thought she was Red Pill or something. I didn't know Real Pill was still going on until yesterday. Are you talking about Cynthia G? You ate 5 donuts within the last 2 days. Oh, you know what's crazy? I wouldn't like sweets. You know, I don't hate them, but like I don't remember the last time I ate a donut. I really don't. I don't like donuts. I actually prefer like ice cream and like cookies. I'm kind of boring actually when it comes to sweets. Like when people get ice cream, they get like all this crazy chocolate chunk Reese's peanut butter, and I really just like vanilla ice cream and sugar cookies. Like really simple. Not a Cindy Queen shampoo. Nope, I need to lose weight. I love healthy food, but I'm working on portion control. Ooh, a pumpkin dance. Now that's more my speed. Pumpkin ice cream. I didn't even know they had that. Girl, you finna have me big back. Ooh, that sounds so good. I have been doing like more festive, like just doing like little decorations, little pumpkin. I think I got like this pumpkin coffee. It was kind of nasty, but I'm gonna get like more pumpkin stuff. I ate a sweet potato. I cooked a sweet potato today for the first time, and it was really good. Trader Joe's. Um, I don't know. Do we have Trader Joe's where I am? I know we have Whole Foods, but I don't think we have Trader Joe's. I definitely eat junk food, but on a heavy balance. I actually really love to cook. I think I eat healthy. I just eat too much. I eat like when I'm bored and stuff like that. I think that's what it is because I don't have a sweet tooth, and I do like exercising, and I love healthy food. I think I just do too many carbs. Mm, I love sweet potato. Pumpkin is trash. Wait, you mean pumpkin everything or just pumpkin flavor things? Because I love pumpkin seeds with a little bit of salt. Oh my god, I used to eat those like every year. My teacher, she would make pumpkin seeds and like Thanksgiving soup and stuff. Oh my god, it was so good. But I know some pumpkin flavor things can be like ill. But let's see what other videos do I have for you guys. So I think the last thing we were talking about was dark feminine energy, of course, and how that relates to racial ambiguity and stuff like that. So that's definitely something I'm really passionate about. I'm actually going to make more videos on that because there's so much stuff where I feel like you got to see it to believe it. And I do have some videos and pictures already lined up right now, but I want you guys to be able to really grasp it. So I probably just might make like a regular video for that and make it kind of like a movie or like a documentary because it really is a story when you're looking at and honestly I don't just pull from like biblical texts and stuff like that. I pull from like different archetypes in movies and film and books and stories and stuff like that when it comes to my research. Pumpkin everything. Oh, you say you're puking now. Squash is great. I never tried squash. The aftertaste of a pumpkin. Pumpkin got aftertaste? I really don't taste nothing. Like, you don't like pumpkin pie? You don't like pumpkin pie at all? I know some people prefer sweet potato pie, but I like pumpkin pie too. Pumpkin loaf, I've never had that. I'm guessing it's probably something like banana bread, but like pumpkin. It's so strong, no. Oh, yeah, I can see that. You like both. Man, I'll be tearing that shit up Thanksgiving. But oh yeah, and speaking of like since we're talking about food, I've been thinking about like now of course you want to be like healthy and stuff when it comes to your body, whatever that means for you. But when it comes to like fat phobia and stuff, like I've noticed a lot of that is rooted in spirituality too. When you look at like different totems or different pieces that archaeologists have found that represent the original Venus or the original beauty standard, um probably like in Africa and places like that, they have bigger girls. Like people would make like little dolls out of rocks and twigs and stuff like that, and they would make different entities out of vases or statues and stuff like that. So a lot of the original, in fact, the original um dare I say, sex symbol was the image of an oversized, what would be considered oversized today, dark skinned black woman. And I find that so funny that that's what's considered the ugliest thing today, by certain people's standards. I just find it fascinating that the original sex symbol, the original beauty standard, people have been convinced that it's not as beautiful as it is. And I think that's where a lot of like rage comes from when it comes to like black people, black men, black women. Because think about it, if the black woman was considered the most beautiful archetype in the world, the blueprint of beauty, but now she doesn't feel it beautiful at all, wouldn't that like fuck with somebody's head? You know what I mean? And if black men, Africa is the biggest continent. Some people think it's the first continent. It has all the world's most natural and valuable resources. Things like gold. You can literally just dig gold in Africa. It's that type of place. At least it was before people mined it. But as a black man, and knowing that you're so, at one period of time, you were the head of the world. If everything is true, Black people were the first people. We're made in the image of God. Here you are, the first man, and you want to feel strong, but you're the weakest, in America at least. So I think for some people, when it comes to race, they don't like the way that things have flipped over time, if that makes sense. And a lot of people spiritually still have that anger. So when they do see, a mixed woman in the Black community, they feel like you're replacing me. That's the first thing that comes to their mind. And I feel like that's where that comes from spiritually. It's more than just, wanting a guy's attention, or, oh, she got this rose, she got this, she got that. I think it's the image and how people view themselves. You have so many theories about Blackness. I love to hear it. Honestly. And then a lot of these Black men, they'll say things like, oh, white man this, white man that. They love a white man. They will sleep with the white woman just to get to the white man. Like, really. And then I noticed, like, with the passport bros, and this is why I did my video on, like, and I know, like, EU, she says that men, like, their beauty standards come from, like, celebrities and porn and stuff. But I think it's definitely like a combination of all of those things. And it's more than just like beauty standard, because a guy can know, I like big booty bitches. That's my thing. But I want to be president. So I need a small back girl that wears blouses, That what I know I like, what I know I'm attracted to, I cannot marry that. That cannot be my counterpart. I need the girl that fits the image that I want to portray to the world. And a lot of men will do that. They'll find their Eve that represents who they want to be seen as, and then they'll find their Lilith who will represent the counterpart of who they actually are. And when men say dominatrix, it's not just, oh, your dick is little, I'm going to kick you in the face. Like, it's more than that. Sometimes, and this is why I tell you, don't give men free energy. Even if you're upset with a guy, talk like a robot. Use your customer service voice, because they feed off all energy, whether it's positive or negative. They literally pay women to be mean to them, and you think you cussing him out and you doing something. So this is why I say, like, please do not be giving these niggas energy, because if you knew the the brightness that comes to a man, and how alleviated he feels, and how much better his day is just because a pretty girl acknowledged him positively, you wouldn't do it so freely. Now, if you're a nice girl, that's one thing, but once you know how valuable something is, you don't want to give it away so freely. And just being in the presence of a woman is it's exhilarating for men. It really is. So boom. Imagine that's the case, but they keep themselves down. Yeah. They will sleep with the white man. Yeah, why it is I be feeling bad calling niggas gay. Cause ain't nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with it. But like, I really don't have respect for DL men. I feel like I don't like DL men because these are the same niggas that will convince you you're too masculine, and you're too this and you're too that. Whole time you're just a bitch. You're a bitch. So I really don't respect DL men. I feel like they be overstepping their boundaries. And that's one thing about Diddy. Nobody's mad that you're good. We're mad that you're a creep. You're a bad guy. You know what I mean? And that's really my disdain towards DL guys. I have nothing against the gay community. But DL men, go to hell. That's my personal opinion. um, Black men are heavily envied, and it's really some deep stuff happening. The irony is absolutely wild. Yeah. Yes, I agree. Most of them have Madonna whore complex. Madonna is who they want to be seen with. The whores want to who they want to sleep with. Um, I was gonna say a lot of men, their whore is actually a man. Whoo, child. Now that's the tea. That's the gag. You know what? I don't know. I really don't have nothing against the deal, guys, but like I just be wondering, like, what is it? Like, when I was young, like, okay, so I'm bisexual, right? But I love God. So I was like, well, how the fuck am I going to do this? So I decided to read Sodom and Gomorrah for myself. And God never said he hated the gays. He basically said a guy shouldn't dress in a woman's clothes, and a girl shouldn't dress, in a guy's clothes and stuff like that. And then when it comes to the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, They was just doing a whole bunch of fuck shit. It was a bad place. Um, and they God sent like the angels or whatever, and they wanted to fuck the angels. So God was like, you know what? I'm done. Like just tear it all up. And I just remember that story, and I just remember thinking, and then it reminded me of slavery and buck breaking. And I don't know if you guys know Orlando Brown. He talked about panda eyes and how they will do sex with you to unlock certain things, and you'll get the panda eyes. And I just wondered, like, what's the connection here? So I'd be wondering with DL niggas, like, are you really gay, or is there something else going on? I don't know. It's some sort of self-inflicted spell. Yep. Yep. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And then remember when people used to say stop sagging because sagging spelled backwards is niggas or something like that? I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But I've been thinking about it for a while, and I've been trying to like piece it together. Like what's really going on here? you know? And I feel like when God says sodomy, I don't think sodomy is the same thing as gay sex. I think sodomy is buck breaking. I think sodomy is panda eyes. I think sodomy is a ritual through your root chakra that can cause a lot of shit to get fucked up in layman terms. But I think, gay sex is gay sex. Like, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think it's the same. So this is why I say, like, I can't do DL niggas. There's something else going on. It's definitely something else going on with them. But and I think Dissy Brides, she shared this guy's channel, and he was going in like some of that stuff I don't even think I want to know. I feel like and I've dated like a bisexual guy before. I really have nothing against that. But certain things I feel like if women knew who men really were, the world wouldn't move the same way it do. Because that's like, it's one thing you see in a sex worker. All right, you fucked a stripper, who can blame a guy? But a man? So you doing the bending? I, 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 I don't know. And it's one thing if I signed up for that, but like, I don't know. DL niggas is too much. Good night, the Imago. Imago. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, that's something I was just like, oh, it's so crazy. But I definitely think it's spiritual. I think a lot of, and a lot of men be gay for the same reason that a really important, rich, famous guy, or maybe like a really serious guy, maybe he works like at a business or something. He's a CEO. These are the men that pay to see sex workers and see dominatrix and stuff like that because they're so in control with their real life that when they're doing fantasy, they want to be out of control completely. So that's the appeal. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. I spoke to a gay man. He said there's no such thing as a bisexual man. Ooh, I don't know. I feel like people be so mean to bisexuals. They be like, "Oh, you're confused. Like, how the fuck you gonna tell me?" Like, I don't know. But I do think when it comes to men, people feel like you can't be both. But I also feel like these niggas be lying, They be wanting a little bit of the both worlds, but I don't know. A lot of people do feel that way about like bisexual people. You're just on the fence and you'll figure it out once you get there, like you have to pick. But yeah, that's definitely something I don't know if I can do that, y'all. But yeah, I definitely think it has to do with men wanting to rest in their feminine energy, y'all. They want to be in a soft girl era. And at first I was mad, like, oh my God, when did all the niggas become bitches? Like, what? But now I'm thinking about it, like, wait a minute, maybe this is what we need a little bit, like spiritually, like 500 years from now, if half the male population is transgender and the other half know they have to be feminists to get with women because we're doing the 4B movement. We're not giving them access to us anymore, remember? Then they have to eventually respect the divine feminine, am I right? You know? So I wonder, like, is this all for the better? I like to think so when it comes to stuff like that. I also have some more pictures from now this isn't from the Da Vinci Code, the movie with Tom Hanks, but this is some research that I looked up on myself on behalf of the film. So if you guys know the Last Supper, let's see if I can pull up a picture of it. Let's see if I can. Mm-mm-mm. I want to get one, the Leonardo da Vinci one. Okay, let's see if this works. And I am new to StreamYard, so just be patient with me. Okay, I think I got it. So, in this picture, they really talk about this picture a lot. And I wonder if I can zoom in. No, it's not gonna let me. Okay, so in this picture, they really talk about right here in the middle, you can see Jesus, and to the left of him, that's supposed to be another guy, but in the film, they believe it's a woman. The woman, her name is Mary Magdalene, and I love this character in the Bible because it's almost like the perfect mixture of the Madonna and the whore, the Lilith and the Eve. If you don't know the story of Mary Magdalene, I've actually read the Gospel of Mary Magdalene many times. She was Jesus's favorite disciple out of all the other disciples, and a lot of the other guys were like jealous. Like this nigga named Peter. You guys know about Peter, you know. I just kind of, if you read the Bible, it's just certain characters you just don't like, and I just cannot stand that nigga Peter. He was such a hater, but he would go to Jesus like, "Oh, she's a woman. Why are you teaching her this? Why are you doing her that?" And if you know anything about the Bible, and you actually read it, like you read it, you would know Jesus is, he's a little sassy, like he's not. People think he just like, oh, what would Jesus do? Be a nice person. He'll be knocking shit over. Like Jesus will snap back. Like if somebody says some funny shit, he will clap back. Like if you actually read the Bible. So he clapped back like, fine, I'll just make her a man. Now, did she grow a dick? No. But mentally, he gave her the ability to access and harness both masculine and feminine energy, because essentially these two energies were one. And he gave her the ability to access both. And doesn't that sound familiar when it comes to the immaculate conception, the original Mary, Jesus's mother, the one that gave birth to him without a man? That's a very symbolic story. Now it does go into the Madonna complex, because a mother is supposed to be holy, right? Men see mothers of holy. Madonna means mother, but you can't be a mother unless you get nutted in. And the thought of that happening to a woman is so sexual to a man that they can't view it as sacred. So the only woman that can be holy in the eyes of modern Christianity is a mother that is also a virgin, which is impossible. It's an impossible standard for women to meet. And this is the game we have to play, ladies. So I love the character of Mary Magdalene because she was known to be a prostitute in the Bible. But, Jesus, he went around saving plenty people. And out of all the disciples that followed him, she was the one that he, catered to the most. And if you watch the movie Divinity Code, to go more into detail, but in some of the books, they say that she was his companion. And at that time, the connotation of the word companion actually meant lover. And they said that he kissed her often, and all these other things, Mary Magdalene. And I think she just represents a sweet middle of both the Eve and the Lilith, the Madonna and the whore, that you don't have to choose either one. You can be both simultaneously, and you can evolve either or. If you want to be more whole one day, you can be that. You want to be more mother one day, you can be that. So that's why I really appreciate her character. Hi, Exotica Worship. Oh my God. I was hoping you was up, girl, because I was watching your videos. I love your videos. Ever since I found your channel, I subscribed so quick. So I was hoping you was gonna be up. Um oh, good night, Bella Ray. I just saw your comment. Bella Ray, you was right about that self-inflicted spell. We're gonna have to dig into that. When she said self-inflicted spell, she was saying between buck breaking, panda eyes, sodomy, and gay sex, what is the correlation? And all the guys want to be transgender females, and niggas is bitches now in a soft girl era. What's the correlation? Is there a correlation? Why everybody turning gay? So I do find that interesting. Mary was essayed, and I'm wondering if she consented to her encounters with men. I don't like that she is portrayed as a whore. Ah, interesting. I do know, even in the movie Da Vinci Code, if you guys know the character, Tom Hanks, he was really against the idea of that being a woman in the picture. And one of his successors, one of his mentors, when Tom Hanks said Mary Magdalene, the prostitute, the guy turned around and said she was no such thing. And I think that's a part of the Madonna whore complex. If you can't, now, if you disagree, that's one thing. A lot of people interpret these biblical texts in a lot of different ways, trust me. But I think the idea that she couldn't be a whore and his confidant, that's the Madonna whore complex, because why not? That's my personal opinion on that. It's over 9 in Cali. Oh, I've never been in California. I always wanted to go. But yeah, I respect the divinity of Mary Magdalene so much that honestly, either or, it really doesn't make a difference to me. I think that even if she wasn't a whore, that's more of a reason to learn about this stuff, because why did they feel the need to call her that to discredit her as if it would? So that's what I find interesting about it. Now, let's see. Now, when oh wait, I forgot to show you guys these pictures. So here's some more pictures. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for showing these, so I'm not gonna keep it up there too long. But here's some more pictures on how the divine feminine and her sexuality has been secretly hidden in a lot of different religion, and for a lot of different people. If you do go to Spain or Barcelona or Europe and these places where some of these old buildings still stand, there's penises everywhere. It's in the art, you know. So when it comes to sexuality, a lot of people, they kind of have to demonize it. They can't see it as something sacred, and if it is seen as sacred, it has to be hush hush private. And if you actually read a lot of Christian biblical texts, you'll know that a lot of the stuff that was there in the beginning when it comes to religion is considered pagan now. So a lot of the things people say is dynamic, that was like the original Christianity, you know? So a lot of these things, these topics can be argued with back and forth, because the Bible, it's an accumulation of so many different things, where I do enjoy the Bible and I have read it, but if you take the text verbatim and you only listen to your local pastor, you're never going to understand anything. If you haven't read the book of Enoch, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, having an opinion on these type of things is just, it's remiss. It's rudimentary, because you haven't done the research. You're listening to what other people tell you. And I made that mistake in the past. So that's why I took it upon myself to do these things. But the Holy Grail in the Bible, they had to make it a cup, because a cup is innocent, right? Guess what it really was? The vulva, the uterus, all the good stuff. That's what it was. They say the cup is what carried the bloodline of Christ. The only thing that can carry a bloodline is a woman that has had sex. Yet that's the dirtiest thing in the world. That's not a coincidence to y'all. So that's just my personal opinion on that. Are you from New York or New Jersey? No, I get that a lot though. When Exoticals United was talking about like how people perceive you and stuff, not just my phenotype, but the way that I speak. A lot of people think I'm not who I am or where I'm from. So I definitely get that a lot. Come on, Wi-Fi, let me refresh. Speaking of that, hold on, let me plug in my charger, y'all. Hold on. That literally just reminded me. I don't want to die on y'all. Let me plug this in. Um, the imago. I thought you was going to bed. You told me good night 10 minutes ago. I think the hypermasculinity trinity is also connected to the spell. Yes, it is. That's some good shit. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's some good shit. You ever thought about that? It's supposed to be mother, father, child. You know, so you're 100% correct. That's definitely some gay shit. That's why the priest in the church be touching on them little boys. It's all connected. I really cannot make this stuff up. You're 100% correct. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna go look for my charger. Just 1 second. Okay, I found it. And I found this picture. I'm pretty sure I showed this not on my last slide, probably like another video, I think. But let's see if it'll let me upload it. Okay, there we go. So I can't zoom in. I know it's kind of blurry, but when it comes to the African cross, you can see the line at the bottom is the penis, and the two lines on the side represent the testicles. That would be the phallus, and then that circle will represent the woman's yoni, whatever you want to call it. Versus the Christian cross, that's just a bunch of dicks. So yeah, that's why the niggas be gay. The live is fire. Thank you so much. We need some background music like when you're waiting online from the TMV. Actually, I think they have that on here. I'm really new to this, but hold on, let's see if that even works. Let me know if y'all can hear the music. Okay, I think I played some, but I didn't hear it. But they definitely have that on here. It says you can play music. Let's see if I did it right. Oh, you heard it? Okay. Okay, I'll definitely remember that for next time. I probably want to do like my own little music. I like the da, 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 da. So I'll probably look at that. You're doing great. Thank you so much. Let's see, what else do we got? So yeah, when it comes to like Lilith and dark feminine energy, it's definitely been shunned away from the church. And that's why I love the archetype of Mary Magdalene, because it's basically like fuck that. And if you actually read the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, she goes into Jesus's teachings that we're more spiritual and we're more metaphysical. And even he said there is no male and female, there is no young and old, like we're all connected type shit. And they basically just refused to put that in the Bible because it was too uplifting. And I always like to say that Martin Luther King and Hitler used the same book to hypnotize the masses. So if you take the Bible too literally, it's going to be really hard for you to understand things. And also, if you guys seen that movie, The Book of Eli, that entire movie, the one with Denzel, the entire movie was about the power of the Bible. And he was blind. He couldn't even read a regular book. He had to do braille. And the whole part of the movie was people trying to get the book. And when they finally got it, it was in braille. They couldn't even read it because they wanted to use the word against people. So I try to like teach people about stuff like that. But you're allowed to make your own decisions. I love that we all have our own unique styles. Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about this community, because and I don't want to compare it to like anyone else's channels or anything like that, but this is the only space on YouTube where I feel like you can genuinely be yourself and you be celebrated for it. A lot of people feel the need to say, this is why I was sticking up for Exoticals United with all their drama, because people will enjoy the best of you, and then when something happens that's not convenient for them, they'll just throw you away. And I'm like, how can you enjoy the best of someone? And when something connected to what makes them so great that you don't like happens, you want to push them away. So I don't know. I've always hated stuff like that. And Exotica Worship says, yes, I love that movie. I had to see it 5 times to get it. Yeah, it's a goodie. It's definitely a goodie. I love movies and stuff like that. A lot of this information I got is not even from books. It's actually from film. So if you pay attention to movies, there's so much symbolism. I'm to the point to where I have to watch a movie like twice just to watch it as a regular viewer, and then go ahead and deep dive and look at the symbolism and stuff like that, especially old movies. If you watch movies from like the 90s or the 80s, it's all right there in your face. Nowadays in films, it's a little bit more covert, but especially since people have been like waking up to certain things, they don't use the same trigger words to bother people. Um, but if you watch old film, it's very blatant. It's not covert at all. Everything they talked about, I Robot, and now we got the Tesla guy with the robot. So you really can't make this shit up. You didn't realize he was blind till the fourth time. Yeah, I realized he was blind once I saw the braille. That's when I knew. Oh, okay. But the fact that he had the entire Bible in his head anyway the entire time, that just shows that we walk by faith, not by sight, and we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. So this is why I always say, like, when people is beefing and stuff, I don't want to be like all kumbaya. I don't mind reading a bitch for filth, but when I realized a lot of people are arguing, especially women, especially black women, I try to be like level headed and like, and that's what I love about this community is that even if we disagree with one another, we can still respect each other's opinions. So I really appreciated that. But I also want to show you guys this other video. And this is going to be something I'm going to do a video about, but this is something that I've noticed, like, I already said, like, in film, they do a lot of symbolic stuff, but they actually do it in pretty much every form of media. It's right in your face, and a lot of people don't notice it. If you are a Gemini, or you've dated a Gemini, you probably already know how to do this, but it's something that you do naturally. No one had to teach you. But people that are part of the elites, politicians, football players, actors, porn stars, they all use something called doublespeak. And I'm going to go ahead and play a video for you guys just so you can get the gist of it. And I would love if you guys have questions because I still have questions, and hopefully we can have like a brainstorm moment and try to figure this shit out because I just still don't 100% understand it. But I'm going to introduce you guys to something called double speak. And we've all done it. We just don't realize that we do it. And it's a really fun way to, as a matter of fact, have you guys ever seen those videos or been to like a seminar or something where there's like a magician, but he's like a mind magician, and he'll say, pick a number from 1 to 10, pick an animal that's yellow, tell me your favorite food. Are you thinking about the number 47 right now? And you are. And you always wanted to know how the hell did they do that? Well, I'm going to teach you. And it's all subconscious and symbolic, and it's called doublespeak. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video now.
The English language. Well, let me share with you what I call our premier life sentence. And it goes something like this. We awake each morning and go off during the weekdays to earn the living at various jobs and undertakings until we come to the weekend. And this seems perfectly acceptable to most people. However, more people die between 6 and 9 on a Monday morning than any other time of the week. So I do what I call a translation of the English language, and I spell that Trance with the idea that words cast spells. So when you translate that life sentence, you remember that awake is a funeral party for the dead. Mourning is the state you're in when you attend a wake. And you would have to be in a weekdays to earn the living, since urns are for the ashes of the dead. We call our jobs undertakings. Job itself is a Hebrew word for persecuted. And what we get at the end of this perverse bargain with life is the weak end of the deal as we become progressively weakened ourselves. And so our most prevalent greeting to each other is hello, the reverse of which is oh hell. And at first, I suspected the hands of collusion entangling the language to foster illusion. And I think it's quite true that a culture's theology has a great deal to do with the word's etymology and how it evolves over time to combine incompatible meanings that may undermine the original thought it was meant to define. But now, I don't think it's planned. For the thing that I've found is that like concepts can gravitate toward the same sound and vibrate at the rate that our thoughts designate. Because words are electromagnetic vibrations whose fine alphabetic tintinnabulations can take on the tint of our true expectations, which they then imprint on our level consciousness
Okay, wait, you guys are saying that
so
you
that
can't
we
hear
know
it?
when they're of the same kind.
Here, let me try to do it. Because I saw someone say they can hear it, but someone else said they can't. That's why Hotep said Grand Rising. Oh, yep, yep. Hoteps are so funny, though. Oh, you can hear it? Great. So if you couldn't, it's okay. I'm going to do a video on that anyway because I do find it like really interesting. But I do find it funny how a lot of people literally don't know what they're saying. And honestly, when it comes to the English language, it's just like an accumulation of a whole bunch of other different languages. But when it comes to double speak, oh, you just had to turn. Yeah, the volume is really low on my end, but I thought that it only played it that way because I was playing it. Because I feel like with StreamYard, when you're playing a video, it's lower than the audience. But this was my first time doing it, so I still gotta like get used to it. But but I think you guys heard the last video well, so maybe it's just that video. Maybe when I screen recorded it, it wasn't that loud, so I'll try to remember that next time. But if you didn't hear the video, it's basically about doublespeak and how different words. How was we going to read a book on word magic? Yes, you definitely have to invest into that because if you do like affirmations and stuff like that, using the wrong words can really like fuck up your manifestation and stuff like that. So if you're into that, I would definitely invest into it. I'm a writer, so I've kind of been doing this my whole life. But once I realized that double speak is something that people, I know Geminis, children, manipulators, pathological liars, people with schizophrenia, they do it without even really trying, really. But there are people that do this on purpose. You ever wonder why when you send a guy a paragraph, he only responds to certain things that alleviate his accountability? You'll send him a whole paragraph and he'll respond to like the first and the last message. Now sometimes that's because men, they just sometimes just being around women too much, they get irritated with us. They just can't do all that all at once. But I definitely think a lot of them are manipulators, and they basically use double speak because I've definitely had this used on me. And again, I'm going to do a whole video on that because politicians use it too. It's basically a form of code, basically, where I can say one thing. You ever ask, like, let's say you're dating a guy and you ask him like, "Hey, where were you last night?" And he says, "Oh, I was with my cousin. It was his birthday." Right? 6 months later, you'll ask him the exact same thing just to see, or maybe it came up in conversation and he'll change the story, but then he'll be like, "Oh, but we were still at my cousin's." Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? So some people, they speak with double speak initially, so that when it's ever a time for them to evade accountability, they already had a loophole. I've definitely noticed manipulative people do this as well. A lot of politicians do it. Politicians, the people will ask them a direct question and they will wiggle around the question and say some shit nobody asks. That's why people don't like what's the lady name? The Indian lady, they say she black, they say she Indian, she running for president. What is her name? Kamala Harris. People don't like her because she does double speak way too much. It's supposed to be where the people that need to know the code know it, but she's so disconnected from people and humanity. And I'm not saying she's a bad person, like for black people. If you want to vote for her, do it. But spiritually, that lady is creepy. Her smile scares the shit out of me. But if I was high and she smiled at me, I would cry. Like, let me chill. Maybe she's a nice lady, but she's something off about her. And I've noticed that she used way too much double speak. Way too much. The word, she doesn't sound like a human being when she's speaking. Like, do you think you fell out of a coconut tree? Where did she come up with that shit? So she uses way too much double speak. She's one of the politicians I know that can't connect with people in a heartfelt way. Barack Obama did it, but he was smooth with it. So that's definitely something I noticed you got to pick up on. Yes, I thought that was just me. Nah, hell nah. These niggas know what they're doing. People know what they're doing. But I just like to point it out to people because people will lie about information. You'll read the news and see one thing, but someone who, for example, there's an app. I forget what it's called, but it's a dating app and it's only for people that are famous. And they basically have to get approved. Some people have to wait 6 months, some people get approved overnight, but it's just for famous people. Do you really think that's the only thing that exists just for famous people? We already know Diddy is selling famous people porn. It's We already know it. It's everywhere. So famous people, honestly, I believe they have their own everything. They have their own movies with actors you didn't even know was ever in a movie together, or a billionaire paid them to make a movie that you don't even know exists. They have their own access to the internet that we just do not have. So when something is in our realm, the little people world, on the news, on the shade room, TikTok, TMZ, they have to post what we need to know and what they need to know. So we're reading what they want us to know. Meanwhile, the famous people are reading in code because they know what's really happening. That's why the same shit happened to people. When people have mental breakdowns, why they all die they hair blonde? it's repetitive, so it's symbolic, and you kind of have to be able to pick it up. I think she was pandering as a politician, but she's well spoken as the attorney general. What's an attorney general? Isn't that the people that say on the back of like tobacco products, "Don't smoke this if you're pregnant"? The attorney general. I don't know what that is. Raya. Yep, that's exactly what the app is, and that's just what they let us know. Picture what they don't. So that's definitely something I've been picking up on a lot lately. And even if you're not into conspiracies and stuff like that, be sure because a lot of men will use this on you. You'd be surprised. Now, some people really don't do it on purpose. That's why I say Geminis, children, people with schizophrenia, DID, and a lot of people do have these things. They just haven't been tested. You ever deal with somebody crazy or have a crazy family member, and you're thinking, oh, that's just Phil, that's just Kevin, that's just how they are. Like, no, that person got some mental illness going on, you know? So a lot of people do this on purpose, and some people genuinely don't know that they're doing it. Yes, that's why numerology is interpreted it because it's if you know, you know. Yep. hmm So yeah, it's definitely something I noticed. So do y'all have any questions about like when it comes to symbolism, femininity, masculinity? Um I feel like a lot of it is just really connected for me, so it's hard for me to separate the two. That's why when I bring up one topic, I bring up another because it's all like a big old puzzle piece to me. I really don't see these topics separately. Even when if you want to get deeper into conspiracy stuff, when people talk about what they be saying, just anything like oh, aliens, the politicians as reptilians. You would think all of this shit people are just pulling it out of their ass and it doesn't make sense, but you'd be surprised because when it comes to reptilians, they're like cold blooded and they think like kind of like robots. They're not like other mammals like creatures and stuff. They can have compassion, but if you're a reptile, you're cold blooded. You can't. That's why they make so many movies about oh the robots are supposed to protect us, but they want to destroy us because we're a danger to ourselves. So the only way to protect us is to destroy us. You know that's why they make so many movies about robots like that because that's basically the correlation. So when people say oh you're a clone, you're a robot, they're reptiles, they're aliens, and I think in my last live I talked about when you see aliens, they have no race. They're all the same. They have no gender. They're all the same. We already know in 100 years, you know, from the lady on TikTok, the clip I showed earlier, I'll probably play it again if you guys missed it. But she said that like in 100 years, everyone's going to look like an exotical. Everyone's going to be racially ambiguous. Between the divestors and the passport bros, you really think we're going to stand a chance? You know. And if you do choose to keep your bloodline pure, you're going to be called like a nationalist or some type of ist or something like that. So I really don't care either way. I don't have any children. I don't really think about reproducing with anyone. But if I did want to have only black children or something, I don't think that would be a possibility in 100 years. Reptilians are demons in human form. Correct. So when people say things like robots, what do robots, clones, demons, and reptiles all have in common? They are bodies without a soul, for the most part, if you believe in stuff like that. So I think when it comes to spiritualism and stuff like that, if you do believe in these type of things, my personal opinion is if you were made in the eyes of God or whatever, you're divinely protected. But let's say if you weren't, somebody just pulls you together with some screws and some aluminum and you're a robot. What's the difference between basically a robot is a body without a soul and a demon is a soul or an entity without a body. That's why they possess people. So you would think people are crazy and they're like aliens, robots, but if you pay attention, it's really all connected. It's because MK Ultra they go blind after they get programmed. Yeah, you really can't ignore it. It's everywhere. And I think the reason why they go blonde is because what blonde represents. All white people don't have blonde hair, but blonde hair is supposed to be the pinnacle of femininity and stuff like that. And I think for me personally, just without any proof or any research, what resonates for me, when I see blonde hair, I don't want to sound racist or nothing, but I think white excellence. You know, when I see blonde hair or like American flag or anything that's really like a patriot or something like that, um, I think most people, you know, because I know like men of color, Indian men, Arabic men. They only want white girl blonde hair, and that's not even white is white. Where you from? What's the difference between white and a brunette? The blonde hair symbolizes so much, you guys, so much. The same way an afro, the same way you could hate niggas, but if you wear afro, people will think you're a hotep. So hair has its own symbolism. That's why in my Assure video, when I basically said I don't think she's a texturist, she's just telling you if you want a certain aesthetic, you have to have the look. That's basically what I was trying to say. Different hairstyles, and I know people do like hair theory, and I think it's kind of like that too. Different hairstyles provoke different things in different people. So when people see that blonde hair, that goes somewhere, especially on a nigga. You know, the same reason why I'm not saying the government make niggas gay. Niggas already be gay for real. But the same reason why they put a black man in a dress is the same reason why they'll put blonde hair on someone, because it's just something to shock you, something that don't make sense. Now, I already said that I find that some transgenders it can't be divinity, but sometimes it's a mockery. Sometimes it is a mockery to see somebody, treat femininity like a costume. You know what I mean? So and that's just what the devil do. The devil will take what's clean and pure and pervert it and make it the opposite of what you think it is. So people don't know what's what. So when people are having these conversations, I know another girl brought up Mary Magdalene not being a prostitute. I feel like that was the whole point of the confusion. To where it's almost like a mockery when you can't really tell who's telling the truth here, who's right, who's wrong. That's really all the devil wants is confusion. Now I don't think the devil is some little guy with red horns and we all going to hell. I'm not a Christian. I don't think like that. When I say devil, I really just mean anything. The same way cold doesn't exist, it's just the absence of heat. I kind of see the devil that way. Like it's just the absence of everything that makes us human, you know? Uh yes, did you see the movie of what is that? Avatar the Last Airbender? Is that what you're saying? No, you're saying Atlas. I saw Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh my god, Atlas with Jennifer Lopez. No, no, Jennifer Lopez ain't had no good movies recently. But if you say it's good, I'm gonna try it out. Um, I did see the Will Smith one with the robots though. Is double speak split personality? I've seen people whose faces say a different thing from their words, almost like possession. Oh, that's something else. When you, I've literally seen people's face shift. Like my ex, he was a Sagittarius Sun, Gemini Moon, and if you know anything about Sag and Gemini, they're opposites. So that's just bipolar off a rip. um I would go through the natal chart, but y'all would make fun of me because it's like, girl, you should have known better. So I'm not even gonna put myself in the hot seat. But yeah, those two signs, and the Gemini is already the twin, so they already split between the two. So when your sun and your moon are opposites, it can be really hard for you to know who you are. And his face would literally change, like the eyes would get darker, and it would be the same face. For example, if two twins get separated at birth, one lives a rough lifestyle, the other one lives a wholesome lifestyle, and they still got the same face for the most part, you will be able to tell the difference between the two. Because one is something off, something ain't right. So, and his face will literally do that. Like I know exactly what you mean. Um, I have no idea. I have to research. I never heard before. Do you have any book or movies to recommend? I'm interested in conspiracy theories, but not sure where to start. Start where you feel like whatever interests you the most. It don't matter what it is. I know people that watch SpongeBob conspiracy theories and they have enlightenment epiphanies from that. So you don't have to be super deep or super woke. Anything that interests you, just dig a little deeper in it and just start there. It's an Aryan beauty standard, and the doctors who invented MK Ultra worked for the Nazi Germany's, who were a white supremacist regime. It's all connected. Yeah, I've heard those things too. Um, when it comes to the Jewish people, I'm scared to talk about the Jewish people. If you talk about the Jewish people, you go bye bye. So I really be scared to talk about them. They don't play. I'm gonna say this one thing about the Jews. I saw Candace Owens, and she was on the news, and she was talking to this Jewish guy, and I don't know what they were saying, but she basically read this quote from the Bible saying like, I don't know. I don't know it verbatim, but basically she was saying the fake Jews will pretend to be the real Jews. They will turn good into evil and evil into good and just confuse people. You know what I mean? So I feel like when it comes to the Jewish people, the reason why they're so powerful is because they're frauds. I hope I don't get canceled for that. And I don't really have nothing against the Jews. If you Jews, I don't know. Good for you, but as a whole, and I'm not trying to be on no hotep shit. We was the Jews. We was kings. Not. I'm not on that. Just on a deeper level. I feel like a lot of this. This is destiny swap. Y'all want destiny swap? Here it is. You don't just destiny swap a person. You can destiny swap a whole race of people. And I'm telling you, I think that's what the Jews did. That's why they run shit. It's about five different families that own every company in the world, and they're all Jewish. You really think that's a coincidence? I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to get canceled. There are lipstick alley threads all on this conspiracy forum. Oh, I didn't know that. What exactly is lipstick alley? I only hear about it when there's drama. Is it just like what is it? Can someone explain what that is, please? Because I don't know if it's a place where they just like shade people or if it's like a normal place, like a Facebook or something like that. I don't know. Um, I've always said these transgenders are jealous of women and they mock femininity. Oh yeah, most definitely, 110%. Um, you see comedians do it. Just you see it everywhere. You see it everywhere. Mm. Aries goddesses. You guys are saying all my thoughts. I always felt this way. Oh, that's nice. Very true. How I feel about my sexuality. I feel like they took the purest thing of sex and turned it perverted. Yeah, most definitely. Um, I kind of don't. Now, this is just my personal opinion. So you feel like I'm an extremist, that's okay. But when it comes to like perversion, that's my personal opinion. Perversion is taking something and making it something it's not, mutilating it, transforming it into something lesser or the opposite of what it's supposed to be. That's what that means to me personally. I don't think sex is perverted. I don't think certain things when it comes to sexuality is perverted. I think it's all about the way people view it. Because at the end, for example, I was on Instagram and I was scrolling, and there was an Arabic lady, I'm assuming, a Muslim lady, I'm assuming, and she had the full thing, not just where they covered her hair or you see a little bit of eyes, the full thing. You couldn't see nothing. It was like a sheet. It was all black. And as the wind blows, you can see a little bit of her ankle. And niggas is in the comments, haram, haram, whore, hell, over ankles. That's what I knew. It has nothing to do with the clothes and everything to do with the body. The feminine body is considered dirty in itself. You're born filthy and you have to be a good little girl and get married at marriage, even though people probably want to molest you before you even started your period. And if you don't, you're just a whore. And if you do get married and if you don't do what he wants, you're a single mother. Haha. So at some point, it's like they don't respect any part of the feminine. And just to take it away from, now there's different, I know we did like Eves and Liliths, but we're going to break it down even deeper. There's the maiden, the mother, and the crone. The maiden is the young girl, the mother is the mother, and the crone is basically like an elderly lady. And even that part of femininity and womanhood is treated terribly. This is why there's no female priest or no female Vatican or no female anything in the church. You ever wondered why there's that? When back in the day there were you know what they call prostitution now was considered divinity at the time. The only thing that makes it bad is human trafficking and the stigma. If people treated sex workers kindly and men didn't force them to do things they didn't want to do, there would be nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Other than the the stigma or the lies that people told you. If you get what I'm saying? So that's where it comes in. Whether you're the maiden and you're just a young girl trying to figure out life, they'll project things onto you. Oh, you think you grown? You can't wear red. Why your skirt is above your knees? They'll just project all that shit onto you. And then get you pregnant, make you the mother, defile you then too, cheat on you while you pregnant, do all this other shit. And then by the time you're the crone and you're this, I've always loved the archetype of the crone. Everybody has seen movies or maybe even in real life where an old lady changed the direction of everything. For example, if you guys seen the Malcolm X movie with Denzel, I grew up very pro black. I've said this many times on the channel. I know that movie like the back of my hand. So if you know anything about the movie Malcolm X with Denzel, right before he gets shot, he goes to a park or something, and he's sitting on a bench with an old lady, and she gives him this advice, and it changes everything, you know. So even in the Matrix, there's the old lady there. Pretty much every movie you watch, there's going to be a crone, you know. And some movies do show the kooky old grandma that was actually right in the end, even though she said crazy things. Or the homeless old man that see all the shit in the city, and people think he fried and he homeless, and he you know, he's just on drugs. Little do you know, he sees everything. If you've seen the movie, they cloned Tyrone, the homeless man in that movie, he was into certain things. So, and I know that's like a guy. The crone for me represents elderly women, but even that part of spirituality was kicked out. Back in the day, there was no doctor. There was witch doctors and what's it called? The handmaidens, ladies that elderly women that would help younger women give birth and teach little girls how to be women and stuff like that. But the when you're hurt at a young age, you kind of stay that way. And a man can look at you and tell, up, she a thought, oh, she been ran through, oh, she was molested at 6. You think men are stupid, but they're not. A man, I even said it in one of my videos. Guys can they say something like, I can always tell when a girl's been put through the ringer because the light has left her eyes. You know, they can always men can tell. Men can sniff out certain traumas in certain people, and they will hurt you while you're a maiden, while you're a mother. So by the time you get to the crown, you're supposed to be this all-knowing being, this intelligent being, because elderly women are, you know, they're really supposed to lead the community. A lot of the civilizations that, you know, survived in the past were a matriarchy. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But basically meaning women ran the group and stuff like that. And black men always like to say that like, oh, I'm allowed to be polygamous and have multiple wives because we did it in Africa. Well, in Africa, it was also a matriarchy. So how about that? You know, fake Jews are the Dante's Genesis. Yeah, they whitewashed the Bible, yep, and they took out all the women. They racist and gay. You wonder why? A forum to discuss many topics is space so similar to Reddit, but for Black women. Okay, that makes sense, and that's the vibe I got from it. Actually, Reddit. Okay, that makes sense. So it's anything over there. Okay, okay, that makes sense. Over ankles. The Bible spoke on women who showed ankles and were ankless, and they were supposedly bad. It basically just meant she was open for business. That's basically what they're saying. Oh wait, I forgot I was supposed to be clicking on y'all's comments this whole time. Now when people watch the playback, it's gonna look like I'm talking to myself. Okay, I gotta remember to do that. The only reason we have to cover it is because they are sick with lust. Yeah, don't the Bible say rip out your eyes? Niggas never mention that part. If all men love Sophia, women would be around. Now, who do you mean when you say Sophia? The girl from the Bible? Because I know there was a Sybil Sophia. If you guys know who the Sybil's are, I'm probably gonna do a video on that. But it's so deep and in depth. You would kind of have to have some context of biblical history to understand the Sybil's. But if that's what you're talking about, you're a lot deeper than I thought. It's very interesting. Yes, I remember that part. The old woman is why I honor my great grandmother so much. She was the one word and shed changed the atmosphere. Yeah, and I actually didn't have that archetype in my life. So I always hope that one day I'll be the kooky old lady. And I know a lot of women want to stay looking young forever. And this is why I did my video on our beauty standards rooted in pedophilia, because it's like, I love older women. That's kind of my thing. So, you know, I like MILFs. I like all that. So when I see guys say things like, you're going to hit the wall at 25, I'm like, either you're just being weird or you really are sick. Like you're really a predator, because where do you get that from? You know? So I'm not gonna say all men are pedos, because elderly is a porn category, so somebody's into older women. But a lot of men do think that way, and it's really messed up. Yes, we can see the comments now. I forgot to even do that, y'all. We're like 2 hours in and I completely forgot. That's why in ancient Egypt they kept women's dead bodies at home so men wouldn't defile the course of necromancy. The stench after a week wouldn't repel men because it was so strong. Ugh. No, they didn't stop doing it back then. They still did it. You know the story of Marilyn Monroe when her body died and it disappeared for she died and her body disappeared for 48 hours because all the elites were bidding her dead body so they could sleep with her before she died. And then after she died, this real rich man he paid to be buried on top of her on his stomach, so forever he's hunching her. Niggas won't even let you rest in death. That's why they don't. If you know Rashira, she is a mortician. She was one. And she literally said they don't allow men to become that without a background check because they will rape dead women. So, yeah, it's really messed up. Mm, this is how I feel about men who like women who shave their kitties bald. I felt strange about that. Oh, yeah, most definitely. And it's deeper than that because they be saying stuff like roast beef coochie. So, you don't want no woman. What you want, a man? A baby? Because this is what a woman got. So and I ain't saying you gotta, I don't believe in the whole if you do this, it'll get like stretched out or something like that. Because the way your parts look when you start developing is just the way that they look, whether you're sexually active or not. And me personally, I know it's a little bit TMI, but I didn't lose my virginity till I was like 18. So the way it look is the way it look. You're getting what you're getting. And I find that the only men that have a problem with that are those type of guys. And they'd be so upset when you say that. They'd be like, how am I a pedophile? Because if y'all think, I know, like, you be saying she has these conversations, like, on YouTube, and then in real life, she's not really like a social justice warrior. She just does her own thing. She doesn't bring up these conversations. But I don't give a fuck. I'll be bringing up these conversations, and you're going to answer me. So I've had this conversation with men, whether it's on the internet in real life, and they really be upset when you be saying they're pedophiles and stuff. And I hate saying that because it make it seem like, you know, I don't want to come off insensitive because there really are people that, are victims of that. And the same way, this was a long time ago, back when you can find anything on the internet. Nowadays, everything is so heavily monitored. But back when the dark web was literally YouTube, you can find anything on the internet. And I found this video of this guy. He basically admitted, like, he's a PDF file. That's but he never acted on it. And he would remove him. People would invite him, hey, come to the house. We're throwing a birthday party for the kids. And he would never go. So I don't want to be insensitive to pretty much anybody when I say stuff like that. Basically what I mean when I say that is, and the only reason I make it such a big deal is because I feel like I want to know if it can be fixed or not. If there's something that we can do to prevent anyone's daughter from being a victim and anyone's son from being a perpetrator, wouldn't we want to fix it? Wouldn't we want to stop it at the root? And the thing with this is, I feel like and I already told you guys about double speak, sometimes they will put something in the news and say it's bad, and then people keep doing it when it's like, if you didn't never put that in the news, people wouldn't be thinking about it like that. And I feel like lately, when it comes to like CP, if you know what that stands for, basically child stuff on the internet, it's everywhere. It's on TikTok, not the stuff like actual CP, but people talking about it and stuff like that. Like on TikTok, I was just scrolling and this lady, she usually does upbeat videos. So I was just watching her video and she was talking about something like, I'm gonna throw up just thinking about it, but she was talking about something like Daisy's room or Daisy's corner, something like that. And it was basically like how Diddy did. It was basically like a dark internet thing. And this guy, I don't know how he does it, but he finds these children and oh, it's just so sick. I don't even want to talk about it, but he just did some fucked up shit basically. And I just be wondering, like, is there a way to stop this? Because I feel like the more you talk about it, the more the seed get planted in people's heads. And it's not, it's one thing if it was like a vampire or something. You bite a vampire, now you're a vampire. All you gotta do is kill all the people that they bit, and then boom, no more vampires once you kill the head vampire. But anybody can turn into a predator at any moment. Some men become predators because they see like, and this is why I think a lot of guys say about the roast beef coochie and stuff like that, because they were having sex when they were young and they think a vagina is supposed to look like that forever. And once they grow up and realize you're not 25 anymore, you're in your 30s, you shouldn't be attracted to this anymore, they can't stop. So a lot of men just do 25 and under. That's where I'm at. Some guys, as long as you're over 18, they're good to go. But some guys, I don't know. I feel like that's how it starts, you know. And obviously these are sick people, so I'm not gonna rationalize any of this shit. If it was up to me, we just burn them all. But that's not gonna stop more people from becoming predators. So I just try to wonder, is there something we can do to prevent that, to prevent the victims and stuff like that? I have a question I'll ask you as well, but sometimes when I'm out and about, I see the pretty girl, I invite her to the club, I will send her to our community, right? But my concern is, okay, I'll wait for you to finish the rest of the comment. A man's preferences tell you a lot about his mindset. Yeah, most definitely. And that's why I did my video on um, what are the beauty standards rooted in, because I feel like sometimes women play into this too. I know this girl on TikTok, she does this thing where she'll wear her hair in pigtails and put in bows, which I don't think are inherently childlike. Some things are just feminine and people call it like pedo bait and stuff, which is not cool. I know some girls, they just like to dress pretty and they're not trying to be children, it's just dressing pretty. But some people will entice people and will play on that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to look young or wanting to look young for your age, but it's when you want to look like a child where you throw me off. And the girl, mind you, the girl, she seems like a nice person, but her videos are basically day one proving men are secretly pedos, day two men are secretly da 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 da, and she'll wear a certain dress or a certain skirt and see if she gets more tips at her job. So I've been watching her videos, just like a little science experiment, following her story, and she does it so because you would think, because when I say it, I get attacked. Men are not all men. You were just hurt in the past. We're not like that. Da 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 da. She was better. But when she said it, none of the men were angry. So I studied her and I was like, well, what is she doing that I'm not? So when I watch her videos, um, basically I don't know how she does, she probably doing double speak, I don't know, but when she does it, she says enough where the women support her but not too much where the men turn on her. And a lot of women like Eves, women that are Eves that want to play in a man's world, like, yeah, I know I'm a bad girl, but I'm gonna pretend to be a good one because that's how I get all this, you know. So I really don't have nothing against Eves or anything like that, but I prefer like the more Mary Magdalene, a little bit in the middle. But the Eves are geniuses because they know how to play the game. They know how to play the game, you know? So that's definitely something I noticed when it comes to her content. She'll say just enough for the women to be on her side, but not too much where she exiles the men. So she's not flat out saying men are pedophiles the way I do. She'll be like testing if they are, if that if gives them the alleviation of accountability because they can always say not all men versus me being blunt and saying yep they're all this, that they can't handle that. So that's definitely something I noticed. Um, how do I handle the girl that's not ready to accept her pretty? Ooh, like pretty girls are still the pick Misha. I would be really careful with that. But let's see what EU said. They just aren't ready for our community if they're offended by it. I know the pygmies are very offended by our space. Yeah, I would be very, very, very careful with that because, like, unless they're already bringing up similar topics and you can kind of, I wouldn't say like groom, but like ease them into it and see how they react. I would not, especially as a pretty girl yourself, because a lot of pretty girls they will put under pretty girls under the bus and stuff like that. Most definitely. Even like other light skinned women, I saw a post that was like, "Ain't nobody more pro black than a light skinned chick that don't think she light skinned." So that shit was so funny because it's accurate. Because that was me. But yes, I would definitely be careful with that. I just don't want you to get caught up in no mess or nothing like that. Yes, because I have so many ideas to promote us out here in Cali. I would do that, but like in a covert way. Like you don't have to like use the word exotic or anything. I would just do that like, hey, are you ready to embrace all of you? A free 23andMe with my discount code. Figure out who you are and show up. We're going to do a dinner. Bring a dish from your nationality or something like that. Or, something where you can pick people's interests and figuring out the different aspects of themselves, and they can choose if they want to promote that instead of you doing it, and then maybe them feeling a certain type of way, being jealous of you, because they might even agree with you, they just jealous that you thought of it first. So I would just be really careful with that, and just do it in a way where you're safe no matter what, because I've had people shit on my ideas and instill them. So definitely be careful with that. I had a pick me say pretty women abuse men. Trying to talk to her about that. Mm, maybe. Shoot. I wouldn't say I abuse men, but nah, we get male licks in, ladies. I really do. Um, let's see. And I think another thing when it comes to, oh wait, I forgot to click on the question. There we go. I think another thing when it comes to like dark feminine energy is allowing yourself to actually feel the darkness. Dark feminine energy isn't drinking wine and wearing a black dress. It's being angry. You know? Like, let's say if I'm having a bad day and a nigga be like, smile, beautiful. You're too pretty not to be smiling. I'll just like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go off on random people, but if the opportunity presents itself and I feel like I'm being disrespected and I already have pent up energy from the week, oh, you're getting it. I got said, oh, I just want to talk to you, beautiful. I just want to get to know you. Well, my dog died when I was 5. On my test, I got a C, so I couldn't go on a field trip vacation, so I didn't have any friends in middle school. I will talk these niggas' ears off. I will get free therapy. If a boy likes me, he's my neighbor. You're taking out my trash now. Like, if you're going to use your divine dark feminine energy, at least have fun with it. Just, I'm not saying don't care, because part of feminine energy is being compassionate, but that's for children. That's for puppy dogs. Niggas, ladies, do your worst. Because at this point, I'm getting fed up. The story with the lady in India, how they raped that lady so bad that her legs were contorted in a way that human bodies aren't supposed to look. That just made me realize, like, men are just too comfortable with the way they treat us. Like, they really, really are. They really, really are. And I feel like it's because we're not letting out our rage. Any man in a happy marriage is just a little bit scared of his wife. Just a little bit, you know? And I feel like men have lost that little fear. Back in the day, women, we couldn't have pockets because they were afraid that we were witches. I know, crazy, right? You ever wonder why your dress doesn't have pockets, or why women's blue jeans have fake pockets? Like, what's up with that? It comes from back in the day when women were witches, quote unquote, and they didn't want us to have pockets. So women would carry around beauty items that were really weapons, and we still do that to this day. And I just feel like and it sucks that we have to be on edge and stuff like that, but I love seeing women defend themselves and you know take advantage of it. If a guy is gonna prey on you, the least you can do is take advantage of it in any way you can. Obviously do it safely. Not all men you want to associate with, but when in Rome. Hmm.
I'm old enough to remember when this came out. The issue of National Geographic where she was on the cover and they were like, this is what the average American will look like in 2050. And it's 2024 and I feel like we're already here. I know about 5 people who look like this. Like, and let me say this, race is a crazy thing. And maybe sometime in the future, the issue of what race is and what race you are will be debated because everybody looks like that. But I'll tell you this, there will still be colorism. Because no matter where you go in the world, if you're Asian, if you're Latino, Middle Eastern, African, there's still colorism. And a lot of y'all are going to have to start pulling up pictures of your grandma to prove you're black or something. Because again, I know like 5 people who look like this. And they were saying this is what the average American will look like in 2050. I honestly want to see their prediction now. Because this is Madison. She lived down the street. Like, what?
Okay, sorry guys, I got a phone call. Oh wait, let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, nice. That sounds like a pre-America sales pitch. Out of 10, how many have double lives? What do you mean by that? Wait, 7 to 9 out of 10? Wait, what are you guys talking about? The people who use the role play services. Ah, role play like what though? And do you mean like SW services or just like regular role play? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I definitely heard stories of that too. Um, Besides the Murad Morelli guy, which that story was so insane. Like, I followed that story. I actually went to his channel the other day, and he's just acting like it never happened. But he did stop messing with the black community, which means it really was pandering. Because I don't know that guy. Maybe you are, a social justice warrior. You just happen to have a fetish. But after that stuff came out, he just stopped dealing with black people. So it goes to show that a lot of these people really are role playing and living double lives, most definitely. The story was insane. Like, how do you go from. And then that's another thing, like, again, I have nothing against any races or anything, but another thing that kind of like mind boggles me, and I really don't care to a degree because it's really black people's own fault, but the way other people of color feel comfortable infiltrating the community and stuff like that. Like, and again, I really don't care because again, it's black people's own fault. But when I see stuff like black people handing out N-word passes and stuff like that, or saying someone needs to be promoted in the community if they're not black just because they do quote unquote black things. I feel like once you do stuff like that, can you really be mad that there's things like culture vultures and stuff like that? Oh my bad, I just got a text message. But yeah, so I was thinking about stuff like that, and because I just feel like that whole situation. Now, it's one thing if you want to be an ally. It's one thing if you want to support people of color, regardless of what you look like. But it's another thing to think. And again, black people do this. They think anyone with brown skin is black, unless we don't like you, then we're going to kick you out of blackness. But I do find it kind of eerie the way, in my personal life, I've noticed mostly like Indians and Africans, they can be a little bit standoffish towards Black Americans. In fact, I have a friend, she's a YouTuber, and she told me, hold on, I'm reading this comment. I think sometimes I'm afraid to show my dark side, but I'm always called witchy. I think it's because I grew up in a household where granny practiced and men knew not to play with her. Oh, that is such a beautiful thing because my grandmother, she was a little bit passive, so I really never had like a strong um crown archetype in my life. I think the women that have that definitely have an advantage on life that other women do not have. So that's just such a beautiful thing. But yeah, about like Africans and Indians, I feel like I've noticed that those people, like, not all of course, but for the most part, the they want to be like, and I don't want to sound like the pro black people, like, oh, you only want to be black when it's fun, want to be black when it's convenient. But I think there is some rhyme to that, some reason to that rhyme, because it's like that's the only way he could have got away with something like that. And really, there's nobody to blame but like black men, because if you was holding it down, you know, we wouldn't have to have a whole bunch of people marching and stuff like that. So sometimes I wonder, like, damn, is Cynthia G right? Like, should we just give up on the black community and stuff like that? But when it comes to like feeling witchy and stuff, a lot of people practice and don't even really know it. If you ever kiss under a mistletoe, you practice witchcraft. You know, a lot of people practice witchcraft and don't even really know it. So don't let people, shun you or make you feel shame for something that they don't even realize that they're doing themselves. And when it comes to like double lives, man, niggas be having quadruple lives. You'd be surprised. I always wondered like what life would be like living like a guy, not having any hormones or, expectations of being a woman and stuff slowing you down, because men can really do and be whoever they want. I think who was that guy? Somebody just got into a relationship. I think it's was it Shia LaBeouf? I think it was Shia LaBeouf, the actor from Even Stevens. He's done a whole bunch of other stuff too. But why does witchcraft backfire? That's a whole nother video. But Shia LaBeouf, he was dating FKA Twigs, I think that's her name. Really pretty girl, definitely an exotical. He did some bad stuff to her, like he was abusing her and stuff like that. And he's engaged. And I just remember thinking, if a girl did anything crazy, didn't take care of her kids, was a stripper, anything where a woman is deemed used goods, like you're not worth anything. She would never be, and I'm not saying she would never, things happen every day, but she wouldn't be considered, you know, somebody worth marrying or anything like that. She wouldn't be considered an eligible bachelorette. Meanwhile, a guy can be not shit his whole life, but because he has a penis, he's still considered a man, and he can still have a family, and girls will still be with him. Even Legion from the recent teaser, he's engaged, and I just remember thinking, men can just do whatever they want. They can be whoever they want. EU, when we get bigger, do you guys think it would be wise to do a discreet meet and greet? Oh, I was talking about something like that. Really, that really does sound nice. I was like, let's do like Pilates or something. I ain't even never did no shit like that. It just sounds like some fun shit to do. Especially like with a group of people that are like minded. I've seen stories about love spells going wrong. What happens? Um, well, love spells, when people get into magic, usually they're doing it for love or money. One is a little bit easier to get than the other. One, love is subjective. The way you love is not the way somebody else loves. So if you love through dinner dates and back rubs and flowers, a man may not love that way. So if you can do a love spell on him and you think, oh, it didn't work, whole time, this is just how you know he don't hate bitches that he love. A lot of men will marry a girl that they're complacent with, a woman that is a safe bet, a good deal, an easy woman. Most men are not brave enough to marry the woman that they love because she'll drive them crazy. So, do you even really want that man to love you, or do you just want him to treat you a certain way? And if you do, just do a spell on that. Do communication spell. I'm tired of him not texting me back. Do Rekindle spell. Sex ain't good no more. But love spell, do you even really want that nigga to love you? You gotta think about shit like that. That's why niggas be snapping and killing bitches, because not a lot of men are nice to the women that they love. You'd be surprised. Yeah, like you said, I think it's about intent and free will, maybe. Yeah, but the same way a nigga can manipulate a girl out her coochie, ain't that not free will? Ain't that manipulation? The same way a nigga can brain fuck you into thinking something is what it ain't that low key mentalism in this spell? So I'm not saying don't do a love spell. A nigga gonna do you worse. What's a little jar, a little candle? But at the same time, just think if that's really what you want. I don't think it'd be backfiring. I think people don't know what they be signing themselves up for. But yeah, I'm definitely actually gonna do a video on that as well, love spells, because I feel like when women say don't do love spells on guys, it's really just a way to say, aha, bitch, it backfired. Ha ha. Like, girl, nah, you're not gonna scare me with that shit. Like, men are more physically stronger than us because men are part of the physical realm. That's why they say this is a man's world. But when you're horny or you're sad or you go to sleep at night, that's the divine feminine energy, the spiritual, the subconscious, the unseen, the unknown, the darkness. You know, man represents light. And I know it seems like kind of rudimentary, but the penis, the phallus, it sees the light of day. The inside of your coochie never sees the light of day. That's why feminine represents the darkness and stuff like that. So I think when people say stuff like, oh, spells is going to backfire, it's just a way to punish women. You know, it's really just a way to punish women because spiritually, we're stronger than them. The same way physically, they're stronger than us. And they will use their strength against us. So why not use their spirituality against them? So I really don't believe in that. I would never want to be a man just bobbing around like dummies. I've actually thought about it. But I like when I think of being a man, I think of being like a man that I respect, you know? Like I wouldn't say like on like no transgender shit or nothing like that, but I've definitely thought about being a man for a day. Like, what would I do? Like, how free would life be? I definitely thought about it. Yeah, love is subjective. Yeah, you want to be careful with that. Just be more and who knows, the nigga might already love you. He just don't like you. So you just gotta be careful with the love spells. I wouldn't say don't do it, but just know what you're doing and why you're doing it and just focus on if you really want that outcome. Because a lot of men are mean to the girl they love. They will leave the girl they love, do a smear campaign on her, and get with a girl that makes them feel good about himself. So just be like a little bit cautious about that. I think if you give birth to a son, you've been a man before. Oh, yeah. In a way, yeah, I can see that because like it's really all about the energy when you think about it, you know? And I find that when women, and I used to think it was just like some weird pick me shit when girls would say stuff like, oh, I want a son, not a daughter. But, which I still do. But I think there's some type of relevance to it where if a woman is pregnant with a boy, they say the girl sucks up all her beauty or something, and the boy makes her more prettier, if that makes sense. I don't know. I've never been pregnant, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I've definitely heard stuff like that, and there's a lot of different ways to pick up on masculine energy. Whether you're like bisexual, whether you just have a lot of masculine placements like Aries and Scorpio, like me, or if you've probably been pregnant with a boy, especially if that's like your firstborn son. There's something really significant about that. The man that I'm with, like on the with, he caters to me, but stop asking to marry me because he said I would drive him crazy. But he still caters to keep me around. Girl, I know that's right. But yeah, men, men are so funny. Sometimes when I'm thinking through the male gaze, it makes total sense. Like When I'm out on the sidewalk and a man talk to me, I just feel like, why? Like, just leave me the fuck alone. But thinking through the male gaze and being attracted to women myself, I kind of get it. Like, damn, they wake up every day with a hard dick, wanting a woman, and a woman don't want them. That would drive anybody crazy, you know. So I ain't saying I'm team incel, but I get it. I get it. I really do. Sometimes I'll be feeling bad for men because it's like, and I don't want to empathize them because they do be using weaponized incompetence to act like they don't know what's going on or act like they don't know right from wrong. So I'm not trying to empathize men or anything like that. But sometimes, thinking from their language, they are kind of like children. They are kind of like just how they think, how they see things. They say men are simple, but they're not. They're just slow a little bit. They compartmentalize things. When you try to, let's just say you're asking a nigga for some, right? You want a gift, you want a date, you want some money. If you go, oh, we never go out. I want you to take me here. There's a new restaurant. Well, they went there. Why can't a nigga can't handle all that? All you gotta do is hit him with the, oh, I could really use a steak right now, man. If I had a steak, I don't know what I'd do if I had a steak. Oh, I didn't know the new steakhouse opened up. Oh my God, it's only 10 minutes. I hope I can go one day. Boom. You want to go to the steakhouse? You know what I mean? So, like, just little shit like that. If you ever want something from a nigga, don't say too much. Like, the more you speak, the less he listen. The more difficult and complicated you make it, the more likely he is to say no. If you ever want something from a nigga, don't even say too much. Don't even explain anything. Just say it. Like, just say it outright. Like, can I get $20? Well, I need $20. Don't even like ask. Just say it like I need $20. Don't even can I get no. If you say can, they're gonna say no. You know? You gotta hit them with the I need $20, you know? And he'll just give it to you. Don't even know you. So just little shit like that. If you ever want a nigga to listen, just try to compartmentalize everything you say. Try to put it like in a nutshell, and he'll listen to you. Because I know women be hating men, and girl, me too. But we need them. They need us. We need them. And I'm not saying like in a physical way, because honey, I'm doing just fine without a man. But in a spiritual way, you do need that masculine energy. And there's this other YouTuber. Her name on YouTube is the Universe Guru, but her real name is Mina Afran. Some people are calling her like a scammer, which is crazy because she's just very intelligent, and she created this term masculine container, which I love to use, and it basically means that like femininity can't exist without masculinity. That's why there's no feminine women in the hood. You can't be feminine in the hood unless you was protected by elders or niggas, and not every woman had that privilege. So you can't be feminine in the hood. That's what the passport bros going to the Philippines for, to get the kids. So there is some truth to that. So when it comes to, okay, I think my phone is charged now. I'm gonna take it off the charger. Okay, so when it comes to like stuff like that, that's definitely how I feel about it. Whoever just comments, I don't bother trying to appeal to people anymore. I simply just do me. I like how you talked about never ignoring the signs of coming betrayal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and if you're really into that, I would read the 48 Laws of Power, the laws of seduction and stuff like that. Power and seduction go hand in hand, so I would definitely look into that because I'm pretty sure that's where I got that terminology from. But yeah, even with that whole situation, like I don't know, because even sometimes, like for example, I'm a Barb. I love Nicki Minaj, and sometimes people will try to convince me that I shouldn't, you know. And I have to check myself, like, wait a minute, am I a stinger? You know, like every now and then I gotta check myself. So even when it came to the exotical community, I don't want to be a colorist or a racist. I don't want to associate with those type of people. So I just basically just had to, assess my mutuals, assess how I feel about certain things. And I feel like there's a way to do that without betraying people, and that just wasn't done. So, and I'm not saying, the person that did that intentionally, but I just feel like there's better ways to do things. But a lot of these girls on here are kind of young. I'm in my mid 20s, so I'm just going to give people grace. But there was definitely a better way that could have been handled. Most definitely. And that's why I always stick up for EU, because people will hate watch her channel, take her advice, and then go diss her on a live. And that's why I'm like, oh no, no, I'm not getting jiggy with that. Now, just because, you know, you was there for me at one period of time don't mean I owe you my whole life. You know what I mean? But if you know somebody was sticking up for you and believes in you and never really did nothing to you personally, and you let another person come in between that, I'm cool. I really don't. I don't associate with people like that. I really, really don't. So that definitely turned me off. And you should never ignore signs of coming betrayal. Never, never, ever. Mm-mm-mm. Forgot to click on that comment. There we go. But yeah, do you guys have like any questions, or is there something I talked about before that you want me to bring up again? Because I could totally do that. But just like off the top of my head, I definitely feel great being able to. Sometimes I wish I could take different parts from the live and turn it into a video, because I know some people aren't going to want to watch like a 2 hour live, and there's so many things I talked about that I'm going to reference in my future videos. So I'll try to see if I can clip some of these things. I love Nicki Minaj so much. She's not protected by those around her. She has a full inherency to grab. Yeah. One thing about Nicki is I'm not going to say Nicki Minaj is masculine, because I don't think that she's masculine. Not really. But I do feel like when it comes to her, she's such a pick me. And you know, I love Nicki, but I'm going to have to hold her accountable. She's such a pick me that it kind of trumps her femininity in a way. You know, if you overdo the Eve archetype, men just, they won't even see you as women anymore. And this is when niggas start asking you to pay half the bills or pay for half the date, because they don't see you as a woman. Because I guarantee you, there's a woman they would never say that to. You know, for every guy telling you to go 50-50, he would never tell the girl he's actually attracted to do that. So I think when it comes to Nicki, she has too many men around her that don't have her best interests at heart, and that's why she be getting into it with women. And I don't even think she's that catty. She gets into it with men too. People just don't put that in the news. It's more entertaining when it's a cat fight. But I think with her, especially when she was first with Safari, her ex boyfriend, I think she was a lot more in her divine feminine when she was with him. And I think this latest couple of years, ever since the Cardi, that's really what it was. The Cardi B thing. The Cardi B thing is what I feel like kind of dismantled some of her feminine energy. Because when you pay attention to Nicki before that, she was more fun, more playful, more light, more girly. That's what people liked about it, because she went hard, but she was still feminine. Rappers back in the day just dressed and talked like niggas, for the most part. Wasn't nobody really feminine other than Little Kim. And even she was just like a feminine looking girl talking like a guy. Prior to Nicki Minaj, rap music for women wasn't always super girly and girl coded. So I think that in the last few years, she's definitely lost a lot of that. And that is from being triggered, from being in survival mode. So I said earlier, you can't be feminine in the hood. In the hood is a mindset, if you ask me. And I think in a way, Nicki Minaj is still in the hood, between the guys she date, the things she chooses to do, sometimes just the way she speaks. It's like, girl, you're rich now. Why are you acting like you have ops? Like, and I'm not saying she don't have people against her that are like, giants and stuff like that, but I'm just talking like regular ops and shit. Wait, please tell me, what was that topic coming up, betrayal, so I can get the recap. Um, this was basically, I might as well bring it up since we're all here. It's already on the internet, right? I've been trying to like not get people caught up, but it's already out there. So this was basically, I forgot the lady's. I think her name was like Lashonda. I don't know what it is, but basically she did a live, or she did like a video, and in the video there was a live of the strategic feminine and unambiguous exotical, and people in this community feel like the strategic feminine is not an ally. Maybe she was, but people feel like she isn't anymore. So when the unambiguous exotical did a video with her, people were like, "Hey, like, why are you doing a video with the ops?" And she basically came out, and basically, the person who I found this video, she actually really is an op. Like, she's the girl that was, you know, allegedly trying to expose Exoticals United. So I'll be watching her videos just to see what the tea is. Just like I'm sure she'd be watching mine, waiting for me to say something racist so she can call me racist. Um, but Yeah, so I was watching her video and that's what I saw. So I made a video about it, basically saying exoticals are turning their back on the community, because that's basically what she was saying. She was saying that the unambiguous exotical and another exotical named Dissy Brats were turning their back on the community because they were calling out all of the racism that was happening in the exotical sphere, which was really just one channel. I'm not going to say her name, but it was really just one channel. The lady that did the fake AI videos and stuff, at least from what I saw, it was just one channel. But yeah, all that shit popped off, and she basically apologized to EU. And then the next day, she recanted the apology and said EU was a liar because she watched the strategic feminist videos and she doesn't feel like she was dissing EU. She feels like this woman is still an ally. So when EU got upset with her and said, "Hey, why are you chilling with my ops?" She was like, "Oh, well, you're a liar because I talked to the strategic feminist and she said that, she never said anything bad about you. So you just wanted to make her look bad." And she basically recanted the apology. My personal opinion is you don't have to apologize about nothing. You're a grown woman. You can say whatever you want. You don't owe nobody nothing. So I never felt that she owed anybody an apology, but she did apologize to you. And then she turned around and recanted the apology and apologized to the strategic feminine and then changed her channel name. And at least she's standing on it, so I can respect her for that. But yeah, that's why I was like, never ignore signs of coming betrayal, because her whole rebuttal statement was Exoticals United is fake because she said the strategic feminine be talking shit and I don't have receipts for her talking shit. So I went to the channel myself and watched the videos. Now, was it covert? Yes, but she was definitely throwing shots. So that's what the video was about. And that's just my personal opinion. And I'm sticking with it. And ain't nobody gonna make me apologize. So that's just what I got going on. Now, again, that's why I said earlier about Nicki Minaj. I had to check myself. Like, am I a stan? Am I a colorist? Like I had to check myself. And I was like, no, I'm good. You're just a weirdo. So you just got to do that every now and then, especially if you're passionate about something. Just check yourself. Check yourself and see, all right, am I tripping? Am I doing the most right now? Is this some weirdo shit? And if you feel like, nah, niggas is just hating on me, then that's just what it is. That's what I feel like it is. Because at first glance, I did think Exoticals United Channel, I didn't think she was racist or colorist. I just thought she was just playing. Because I didn't think anybody had the balls to say some shit like that. Mind you, I'm coming fresh off the first Exoticals United video I ever saw. I was coming fresh off Chrissy's channel. And it was a related topic. I don't remember. But this was back when her intro was like, "Hello, my butter pecan," and all that other stuff. So I was like, oh, is she for real? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe someone really had the balls to say something like that. So at first I thought like, oh my God, is she serious? Is she for real? But she was. And I kept listening to it. And at first I just felt like, why are you even making these videos? Like, if you know everything dark skinned girls go through and you really care about black people, why are you complaining about being light skinned? That's really what I thought. That was my first thought. But I kept listening to her talking points and I was like, damn, Shawty kind of right. Hold on, what's going on? Like, I gotta reassess everything now. So that's basically, since I started our channel, that's what I've been doing. And again, like she said, if you disagree with some of her shit, I get it. Ain't nobody perfect. People are allowed to be polarizing, but how dare you benefit from her talking points? Allow it to affect your life for the better, and then shit on her like she doesn't know what she's talking about. That's where you lose me. Whether you want to be in the exotic community or not, at least pay your respects and pay your dues. You know what I mean? So that was just my opinion on that. That was definitely my opinion on that. Oh my God, you sent a $5 super chat. Oh my God, thank you so much. This is like the second one I've ever gotten, and I don't even know. Like, I'm about to cry. Thank you so much. But honestly, I never thought I would get paid off YouTube. I just remember EU saying start a channel, do this, and I already be running people's ears off with these conversations in real life anyway. So having a group of people that actually want to hear me, I would pay for that. So I just really do appreciate it so much. More than you guys could ever know. Um, but yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. I think we talked about like race, gender, sexuality, racism, all the good stuff. So I would like to know if there's anything that stuck out to you guys and you want me to do a video on in the future, like a shorter one, because I know we touched on so many topics and everybody not going to want to watch 2 hours. So I just want to pick out what you guys felt like was most important, and I'll just make smaller videos for other people to see too. Can you touch on money and spirituality? Oh, that's a really good one. No, who's gonna check you? I know that's right. But I think even Nicki Minaj, she has a verse where she was like, "Until my real fans keep repping me, do it to the death of me. X in the box, cause ain't nobody checking me." So I thought that was real cute. Um, But that's another thing too. When we say about like money and spirituality, there's a lot of different ways. I don't know if you mean like manifesting money or just the connection between money and spirituality. For example, when you think of a river, they call it a current, but then when you think of money, it's called currency. Meaning money is supposed to flow, it's not supposed to be stagnant for some people. Some people save money and that's how they grow. But I know with me, if I try to save money, I'll feel like poor. Like, I'm not saying don't save up for a rainy day. That's just smart. And I'm not saying don't have investments because that's smart. But I noticed if I try to hoard money out of the thought of I have to save this or I'm not going to have it later, that'll just create my reality that I won't have it later. So I know with me, when it comes to money, I like to keep it like flowing. Like I like to spend. I'm very generous. I love to give. When I was a little girl, I used to get in trouble because I would give to homeless people, and my mama would be like, "They're just going to use it on drugs. Don't give homeless people money. Just give them food." And I never cared. So I'm very generous, and I just believe the more you put out, the more you get in. You know. So that's something about currency that whether it's spiritual currency, financial currency, it's all connected, and this is another reason why a lot of black people be poor and a lot of white people be rich. They will tell you the devil for some candles, and the whole time they're doing it, and you wonder why they're so rich. I remember even and I'm gonna pull this up in another video that I do, but I remember I wish I could show you guys now, but I think to do that I would have to go to YouTube, screen record the parts of the video I want, download them, and then upload them here and hope y'all can hear it. So we're just gonna do that next time. But there's this lady, and she basically talks about all of this on her YouTube channel, and I didn't want to like steal her content or anything and say it verbatim, so that's why I wanted to like screenshot it and screen record it so you guys can hear it. But she talks about that a lot too. I don't even remember her name. I'm gonna have to look it up. But when it comes to spirituality and money and race, it's very much interwoven. And on that lady's channel, she basically said it was something on the news, like the Vatican or something like that. And the Vatican is white, and a lot of the people there are white. But when you go to the basement of the Church of the Vatican, they're worshiping a black woman. She's literally called Madonna. There's a painting of her by Da Vinci called Madonna on the Rocks. In Da Vinci's painting, she's white. But if you go to the basement of the Vatican's church, she's black. So people will be racist, spit on your face, and then go worship Oshun just to alleviate their karmic debt so that they can get more money. So people do this all the time. DEI had a question. Okay, I think I caught that. But yeah, that's definitely something you can try to incorporate into your everyday life. Just keep things flowing. Keep your house clean. Actually, I do a lot of different things to like invoke like money and not just like cold hard cash, but just abundance in general. I have like plants by my front door, and I don't have a green thumb. I'm not really good with plants. I kept a bamboo plant for like 3 years, and I just can't believe it survived. But I heard if you talk to your plants and stuff and be nice to them to survive, so I gave him a name. His name was Bruce. But it just got yellow this last couple months, and I had to let him go. So I got this new plant, and I've been trying to take care of it. But I really did enjoy that because I just remember thinking the more the plant get bigger, the more money I'll get. So just little stuff like that. There's feng shui. You can use feng shui. That's like a Chinese kind of like if you don't already know what it is, it's basically how you set up your house to invoke certain energy. Grocery stores do it, malls do it. They set up their buildings a certain way so people can buy more. So you can definitely do this in your own home. For example, if you're trying to invite a lover, if your bed is up against a wall where only one side is free, you're going to actually reject a lover. So you want to make it to where you have two pillows on either side of the bed, both sides of the bed you can get off. That will promote bring like love into your life, stuff like that. I believe in the power of manifesting through orgasm. What is your thoughts? And I don't mean the act of sex in itself. Oh yeah, that's basically just sex magic in a nutshell. Whether you're masturbating or doing it with someone else too. Even in the movie The Da Vinci Code, you did see some sexual occult practices going on and stuff like that. And that's another thing. If we can manifest through orgasm, why are you mad that, bitches want to bust a nut? Like, what do you mean? Like, and I find it funny how people demonize female sexuality. And I said this in my last live that the clitoris is the only part of the human anatomy that is made simply for pleasure. You pee through your urethra, you do your reproductive business through your vaginal hole, but the clitoris has nothing to do with your period or pregnancy or anything like that. The clitoris is literally just there for pleasure, you know. So that's something that's really sacred. So a woman's orgasm means a lot. And even men, even a male's orgasm means a lot because a lot of women like misandrous and stuff like that, which I have nothing against it, totally get it. A lot of them like a lot of the women that can afford to hoot men are either like Asian or white because they have already like, and if you think about it, the women that be like having blue hair, I hate men, they're either Asian or white. And if that's not a coincidence because think about it, when men in general are saying who's the most feminine, white women and Asian women are at the top. So white women and Asian women, they have a different view of femininity than black women and other women of color do. That's why there's misogyny and there's misogynoir for black people or people of color. Misogyny is white people. That's basically get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. Whereas misogynoir is a little bit more complex because we was working in the field too. We wasn't, pretty little princesses either. We was on the field, same thing with black people, with black men. So when it does come to that, I have noticed that like the women that can afford to hate men are the women that benefit from the shit that they built in the first fucking place. A lot of black women can't afford to. Now we can talk shit, but the same thing with Cynthia G. They found it, even Chrissy, that these women are still sleeping with black men, dealing with black men. We can't afford not to. I'm not saying deal with every nigga. I'm not saying that, but like you need the masculine energy to create. No, only Mary of Bethlehem can get pregnant without a nigga. Like we not her. We not finna get pregnant with Jesus' baby. You need masculine energy to create. You really, really do. Now you can do sex magic via masturbation, but if you really want to materialize something, you kind of need the masculine energy to do it. So I would suggest watching the Universe Guru. Her name is Mina Afron, and she explains the masculine container way better than I can because she coined it, but I use that term because there's really nothing else like it, and it's the divine masculine is just as sacred. We can't get anywhere without the other. Out of 10 people, how many have double lives? I don't know the statistics of that. I really don't. My great grandparents died millionaires. If it were not for her spiritual practices, candles, and herbs, she had to listen to the church. We would have been poor. Oh yeah, church just wants your money. You ain't figured that out by now? Jesus ain't said shit about no tithes. And he said, give to your neighbor, not ask for some shit. You just gotta read the book for yourself. A lot of people, I remember being a little girl and just reading the Bible, reading the dictionary, going to my principal, going to my guidance counselor, going to my pastor, going to the preacher, asking these questions, and nobody had the answers. And the more questions you ask, especially as a little black girl in the suburbs, the more they look at you funny. So, and I think that when it comes to like the church and stuff, I don't think they're all like bad people or anything. I think anything that get people closer to God or anything that's considered a safe haven for the community should be acknowledged as something good. But at the same time, them people be using people. It's just a cover up for molesters. It's a cover up to take your money. And it's just a mockery of God in general. All the Joe Osteen, all them niggas. The what's the guy? Oh my God, what was his name? I heard that he was with Diddy. I heard that he was they called him a power bottom. What was his name? He was like a preacher guy, a black guy, bald head, bigger guy. And Chris Brown was making fun of him because he was like, "Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you ever had a swallowing?" This shit was hilarious. Teenage Jakes? I think it's Teenage Jakes. Is it Teenage Jakes? I think it's Teenage Jakes. Maybe it's not him, but it's one of them niggas. And yeah, he got called out for being a power bottom at the Diddy parties. If you don't know what a power bottom is, it's a gay guy that just take it. He take, booty hole sensitive, and a power bottom don't care. They just take it, which is crazy. Yeah, it was Teenage X. It was Teenage X. I'm not judging, but who's child? So that's if that's not enough proof, I don't know what is. If you ain't got it by now, you just ain't getting it. Cause I genuinely cannot make this shit up. People will preach to you one thing and then do the opposite. And men do this all the time too. If a nigga ever trying to convince you something wrong with you, something not right with you, he your biggest fan and he a hater. Cause one, why you even in my business like that? And two, when a man degrades in you, he will praise in another bitch. I had to go through that the hard way. I really, really did. Cause I am a considerate person, and when somebody says they don't like something about my character, I assess it. I think, all right, what can I do better? Because I'm a very private person. I don't want people in my life unless they mean something to me. So if you come in and me telling me something, I'm going to listen. But some people, they just be haters. That's all it is. They really just be haters. So you got to be careful with that. It was definitely teenage Jakes. It's hilarious. Um, I was saying that shit for a week. Have you ever been swallowed up? That shit was so fucking funny. But yeah. Niggas be gay. You're gonna see more of it. You're gonna see more gay people. Not even just gay. I'm talking about people that are masculine deciding to become feminine. You're gonna see a lot more of it. You ever notice with the transgender, none of them want to be niggas? None of them. Ain't no new niggas. Unless somebody get out of jail. Ain't no new niggas. They all want to be girls. You don't think that's a coincidence? Now, at first I thought like they're just mocking femininity, and I studied like transgender, and they wasn't called that back in the day. They called them he, she's, hermaphrodites, whatever, all this other shit. But I was really looking into that. There was this old movie, and it's about the first transgender surgery that ever happened. And I love watching old movies. And I probably watched this when I was like in high school, probably like 2012. And I just remember thinking, I feel sorry for people that feel like they're waking up in the wrong body. So I definitely believe those people to a degree, but there's other people that take advantage of that, and they are mocking femininity, and they is trying to mutilate things and just make things dirty and make things perverted to fuck with the kids. They really are. So for the people that feel like guys are dressing up like girls to go to the bathroom and harass women, you're right. And the people that feel like, hey, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, they're also right too. So sometimes it can be a little bit hard to, have an opinion when you have these two different extremes trying to force you to pick a side. I didn't like him because he used to always talk so bad about women. He literally called it's literally called "Woman Thou Art Loose." Huh. You mean like when they be saying Jezebel? I would never forget. That's how I know I'm a bad bitch. I would never forget. That's how I know I'm a baddie. You been saying, Exotic United, how do you use your privilege? How did you know you was a baddie? Man, tell me why I went to church and the pastor, like, I, I don't know what it is, but like certain men are just really attracted to me. And I just, if I'm in the mood for it, I'll be playful. But if I'm not, I'll act like they don't exist. And when you're a pretty girl and you don't want to be bothered, people just assume you're a bitch. They don't assume you're having a bad day. They don't assume that you're shy. They don't assume that you're socially awkward. They don't assume that you're an introvert. They don't assume any of that. All they know is they're attracted to you and you're rejecting them, so they're going to be mean to you. And basically, that happened like with my pastor. And like, now that I think about it, he was definitely trying to groom me. Now that I think about it, because he was trying to act like he was there for me and projecting all this shit onto me. Now, mind you, this is when I was really into the church and I had all these questions. And I didn't have the research that I have now. I didn't have the tools that I have now. So I'm coming to him, thinking he's going to tell me some shit I don't already know. Nigga ain't told me shit, but was basically trying to like get with me or whatever. And I just wasn't with it. And then later on in the sermon, he was talking about Jezebels and he just kept getting more specific. And I'm like, is this nigga talking about me? So that's when I knew. That's when I knew I was a baddie. If a nigga ever called you a Jezebel, you're a bad bitch. I'm just letting you know. Um, see what these comments say. Why do you think that is? They don't want to. No, they don't want to. Once upon a time, you ever notice that white men nowadays got the white guilt and they feel bad? They feel like, why are you calling me a colonizer? Just because I'm white doesn't mean I'm racist. Even white men are going through it. They don't want to be white people have white guilt because they're not ready to pay for their sins. Men don't want to be women because they want to be women because they're not ready to pay for their sins. You can only destiny swap and karmic swap so many times. That's why Diddy's Illuminati subscription ran out. It's time to pay. A nigga that changes his name every year, he's an abuser. You can't put a police report on a nigga and you don't know his name. You can't even do a spell. I mean, you can, but it's easier to do a spell on somebody if you know their name and their birthday. Got a little DNA, but just the name enough. A picture, something. And niggas will change their look and change their name and alleviate all accountability. It's spiritual. I don't trust none of them around kids. Oh, yeah, I don't play that shit. Not at all. I was a praise and worship leader and married to a minister. That must have been crazy. But I'm not even trying to be TMI right now. I know the sex was good. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I had my fair share of the mockery because the church niggas be freaky. You know, um, I have been more exploited in the church than being an expert. Oh yes, let's talk about it. Hold on, I need to take a little shot. Hold on. Let's talk about it. I saw something on TikTok where people are saying, is sex work equivalent to marriage? And I want to know y'all opinion. Do you think sex work is equivalent to marriage? You can put yes, I think it's equivalent. No, I think it's not equivalent. And I'm gonna give my opinion when y'all done. But when it comes to feeling more exploited in a marriage than actually being a sex worker, oh yeah. And from my own personal experience, now I know a lot of people don't want other. No, I'm not saying get into sex work, please. Like I already said, don't do certain things if you don't know what you're doing, whether it's a spell, sex work, whatever. Don't do it if you don't know what you're doing. But let's say you're gonna do it and there's nothing I can do to stop you. Here's what you need to know, or you're already doing it. Here's what you need to know. In my personal experience, from the guys I've dated versus maybe a sugar daddy or whatever that I've dealt with, the only times I felt unsafe around a guy is if it was a guy that I actually dated. None of the guys like pay things for me, do things for me, do investments with me, help me with my business, pay my tuition. Even if he can't afford to do all that, he don't even live in the city, but he cash apping me for dinner every couple of weeks. Just taking care of me in any kind of way. They never disrespect me. It's always a nigga that I'm trying to see the good in. It's always a nigga I'm trying to see the potential in. It's always a nigga that I feel like let me get off my little pedestal and come down here to be with you. Literally. If the more people pay for something, the more they appreciate it. So this is why women say stuff like don't love a nigga at his lowest. Cause I promise you, he ain't gonna love you at yours. Niggas will say, love me at my lowest. Prove you ever notice men only bring up love when you bring up money? You ever notice that? You just want money. What about love? That's what they be like. My sister been begging me to take a road trip to TDJ Church, but I'm not sure that's something for my purpose and I wouldn't do all that. I wouldn't go mess with TD Jakes unless I was blackmailing him. I don't know. That's kind of dark, but I would not go there just to hear that nigga speak. I'm leaving with something. What's his name? Denzel saying that one movie, take something for the road. I'm leaving with something. That's how I feel about it. I would never. And a lot of men shouldn't even be in the church because nigga, that's not your calling. Go build a fucking house. Go to war. Spirituality is a woman's game. What the fuck is you even doing here? That's why they be wearing dresses and shit, little robes and shit. That's supposed to represent the feminine. You ever wonder why they dress like that? Even the Pope, the little thing on his head, it's a whole video. I really want to explain it to y'all because it sounds like I know I sound crazy, but when you look at the Pope's outfit, it's all feminine energy. He's wearing a dress and a hat that looks like a fish. You ever wonder why Christians got the little fish on their car and it looks like the infinity symbol? Y'all not ready for this. Y'all not ready for this. All this shit is connected. All this shit is connected. I see that. You were right. I'm seeing a lot of men, especially straight men, who used to dog women out and cheat because of heartbreak and going through it. Honestly, niggas be saying, oh, a girl broke my heart in middle school, so I'm finna dog bitches out. And I have noticed that, but I feel like it's something deeper than that. I feel like once a boy becomes a man and he understands the the mindset of women and who we are and what we want, they either decide I want to be that for a woman or I'm going to deny a woman of that forever. I'm going to promise to do all this and promise to do this, all that, and I'm never going to deliver. So I think that's what it is. I feel like it's more than just, oh, a girl broke my heart, so now I'm a dog bitches out. I feel like once they realize the responsibility of being a man, they exit out of it. Now some men really do just want to get back, but I feel like that's ridiculous. Like not every little girl had a promiscuous past. Like I already said, I didn't lose my virginity till I was 18. But even if I did, why, like, if somebody's 16 and they have a sexual, altercation or a sexual past, they were a literal child. Like, if anything, you should be worried about them. If they were like a victim or something, if they have that much of a sexual history as a fucking child, you should be worried about them. But instead of sympathizing with them, you slut shame them out of insecurity or just victim blaming, pretty much. So a lot of men will do that. Like they know niggas ain't. And then I saw this one post where they were like making fun of single mothers, and this is another reason why I really don't want to have kids. Because what do I look like? Destroying myself, bringing life into this world just to be ridiculed and humiliated. But they were basically saying like, "Oh, single mothers this, single mothers that." And I made a comment, and I was like, "I don't believe in single mothers. I only believe in absent fathers. Because if the father didn't leave, it would be a full family. If you have children, you're not single. You literally have a whole. Single is you're by yourself. One. If you got a full family, there's no such thing as single mother. You have the children. He is an absent father. He is the single one. So I don't really believe in single mothers. I only believe in absent fathers. And I feel like men do that shit on purpose for real. And I heard a lot of men say like they want their kids to go through the same pain that they went through. They really, really do. I've been called like a Jezebel by my ex called vain. That means he want to be you. A lot of niggas don't even hate bitches. A lot of niggas don't even really. They're not even really misogynist or really. They just want to be a bitch. If a nigga is focused on your makeup and what you're wearing, he could be jealous. Like, oh, why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing that? Or he could just be gay. Because a lot of these niggas, you would think, oh, he doesn't want me to wear that because he's jealous. He's protective over me. Whole time, he just don't want you to be a better bitch than him. I've seen it with my own eyes. Niggas want to be baddies. So I'm just letting you know that's probably what it is. Maybe. Because why do you care if I'm vain? Ain't I sexy? Ain't that what attracts you to me? Why can't I know it? Why do you get to know it? And that's another thing with beauty standards and why I think they're rooted in pedophilia. Because why can't a woman acknowledge her own beauty without being vain? Like, why? You know? They even got a song, You Don't Know You're Beautiful. Oh, that's what makes you beautiful. Why? Why is me not knowing I'm beautiful make me beautiful? What did you gain from that? Oh, an upper hand? Yeah, thought so. So a lot of that stuff is really predatory. Some niggas, they don't want you to know you're beautiful, so they'll tell you not to wear that, not to do this. Some niggas just don't want you to be a better bitch than them. I've seen it with my own eyes. I was called a demon by a nigga because I didn't want to give it up. Ew. Ew. Only a certain type of nigga will say some shit like that. And a lot of people give you insults that they know that you are. So if someone calls you a big back fat bitch, chances are they either like thrive off their skinny privilege so much that they think that you're insecure because you don't have that, or they were once big and that insult would hurt them. So they're saying it to you thinking it would hurt you. So I've noticed a lot of people, you gotta be hyper vigilant of the insults people give you because a lot of the times that's the way they feel about themselves. drop the video. I have a white guy who role plays with me, and he says, "Please make me pay for what my people have done." I swear I try to keep a straight face. It's acting, but it's girl. I would get into it. I would get too into it because some niggas be like, see, if I was a dominatrix, I would have to be hardcore. I think when it comes to like BDSM and stuff, I'm a switch, but I'm not like I have to be one or the other. Like either I'm gonna be really submissive and you do everything, or do what I say. Nigga, suck my toes. Not that hard, you know? I would be mentally ill if I was like a dominatrix. Like I would take it all the way, you know? There's this show, it's called Pose. If you don't like transgenders or anything, you probably won't like it, but I'd be forgetting to see when transgenders because the girls look so real. But it's a show about transgender, and there's this girl, her name is Electra, and she's a dominate. Now the rest of the girls, you know, transgender girls back in the 80s and stuff like that, they really had to be sex workers on the street and stuff like that. And but Electra, she's like a baddie, so she wasn't gonna let no niggas touch her. So she decided to be a dominatrix, and she just be doing them niggas dirty, putting them on cages, leaving them there, spending their money, inviting bitches over to eat all the caviar. I'm like, I could get used to this. So if I was a dominatrix, I would take it too far. And I would really get into it too. Get the whip. You know, I would really get into it. Oh, you want to whip my people? I would really get into it. I don't know if I'm mentally stable enough to do that. I would have way too much fun. I would have no love for my his words, definitely not. I would have way too much fun. I would be like, where are my reparations at, nigga? 40 acres and a meal. I would just keep whipping them. I don't know what I would do. That is hilarious. You have a lot of self control. And then the one thing with that is they don't really be serious. They don't really want you to teach them about white privilege and racism. They just want to alleviate the guilt. It's all about alleviating the guilt and alleviating the accountability. I'm gonna call this person a dirty nigger on Facebook, and then I'm gonna go see. Oh, can I say that? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna say the hard R on Facebook as an insult, and then I'm gonna go see a black dominatrix to put me in my place. Boom, karma alleviated. That's what they do. That's what they all do. I hope I ain't gonna get in trouble for saying that. But I feel like sometimes the way I speak, my words are kind of slurred, and I speak like with a certain dialect, so I don't even think they even pick up what I'm saying half the time. But yeah, I've definitely noticed that, especially with men. So how many 9 out of 10 people got? Um, I think men live quadruple lives. A man can be with you every day and be in a whole nother relationship. I don't know how they do that shit, y'all. I wonder what's yours and EU's thoughts on Halle Bailey becoming a single mother. Oh my goodness. Hold on guys. I'm gonna go get something to drink. Okay, so when it comes to my opinion on the whole Halle Bailey thing, a lot of women feel sorry, and a lot of people are like saying black women are bullying her. We're not. We're bullying DDG, so chill on that. And a lot of people, they really couldn't wait to call her a single mother. It's almost like a humbling tactic. Like I don't know what it is, and I always was confused because y'all be saying if I only do hypergamy and I only date a man for money, I'm a prostitute. I'm a whore. I'm a gold digger. But if I love a nigga at his lowest and he leaves me, then it's my fault for being a single mother and I should have chose better. So I think a lot of people just they wanted to see how the game was going to play out for her, and a lot of women already knew where it was going to go, but the men, they basically are blaming her. I'm going to do a video about Halle and the Madonna horror complex just by itself, because she definitely had the halo effect where people just assume she's more innocent than what she really is. And I knew that from jump because I'm an Aries too, just like her. So a lot of people already put her in the Madonna box, which a lot of black women don't get, you know? A lot of black girls don't get to be considered innocent or beautiful. So regardless of skin tone and stuff like that. So especially like at a young age, a lot of black girls are adultified and treated like teenagers when they're still literal children. So when it comes to Halle Bailey, I feel like people already had her in the Madonna of the Madonna horror complex, and they had her sister Chloe in the horror, which I find funny because if you know anything about cancers and Aries, it's really switched. Aries be kind of kinky. Cancers, they can get down. Um, they can be a little freak leaks, but they're just a little bit more sensitive. Like if they sleep with somebody, it has to be like an emotional connection. Aries not so much. So I find it funny that Chloe was considered the whore and Halle was considered the Madonna. And now that she's a mother, it adds to the Madonna complex as well. Because Madonna can just mean a young woman or a mother, you know? So and when it comes to Madonna horror complex, I think it means both. Mostly like a mother though. But now that she is a mother, I just feel like the men couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to call her a single mother. Now people are, let's see if I can actually find some of these pictures that I already had saved for the video I wanted to do on Haley Bailey. Okay, I think I found some of these. Let's see where I got these. I have all these stock photos from some of my other videos I forgot to delete, so just give me a little second to scroll. Where did I ever save those? Okay, I think I found them. Oh, I wanted to do a video about Karuchi too because some crazy shit happened with her. I want to do a video about that too. But let's see if I can find the Halle Bailey stuff that I saw. Okay, I think I found it. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, let me go ahead and upload these. So, you can see here. No, wait, is it showing it? You can see here. This is from another video I was going to do. I just didn't get around to doing it. But, DDG was using an AI simulator of some sorts to pretend to talk to Halle Bailey. This is before they broke up, I think. And he was talking about when she ate that cherry from from Usher. Well, she didn't eat the cherry. It looked like she was going to eat it, but he grabbed it and he fed it to her instead. And basically, he was asking her AI, like, why were you trying to eat the cherry? Da, 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 da. Basically, calling her a whore. Basically, saying, why are you trying to eat something out of another nigga hand? And the AI was basically, people said the AI had more sense than Hallie because the AI was like, not cussing him out, but basically like, really, like, you're being stupid. Da, 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 da. He was like, oh no, you're being stupid. I'm gonna put us on child support. I'm gonna put you on child support. I'm gonna take our son. And people are like, I don't care if this is an AI voice. He's being weird talking about that shit. And this is before the breakup, which makes it extra weird because that's really how he felt. But he was the one that started the slut shaming. All of that first video he did before the Little Mermaid even came out, when she was in one of his music videos, he kept saying stuff like, what, he was just going in on her, saying I should have never fell in love with a famous bitch, da 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 da. And I'm like, girl, you don't let him talk about you like that. But when you're young and dumb, sometimes what's an insult seems like a competition, Like, I think when he was saying those things about her, she didn't see it as he's dissing me. He's seen it as, I'm about to make him believe in me. You know what I mean? Like, he don't believe in love. He think all women are the same, but I'm gonna show him how different I am. So she kind of like advertised herself as that unknowingly by being so, you know, so secluded where she's not that accessible as a Ruby Rose or whoever else he dated in the past, plus having the advantage of the halo effect because of her innocence and her comparison to her sister, plus being a Disney princess, she really didn't have a choice. People already put her in the Madonna complex, and it's a lot easier to fall from grace as a woman than it is to pick yourself up. That's why when Rihanna did the good girl gone bad thing, she never went back good until she became what? A mother, which meant she kind of had to. And a lot of people felt like she didn't do that good enough because when she was pregnant, she had her stomach out and her titties out. And people were saying only Rihanna can get away with this because any other woman dressing like this would be called a whore. So that's definitely something that I noticed. But when it comes to Halle, a lot of people are basically saying, she's not that innocent. Her soft spokenness never fooled me. She's not better than any of us. Da 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 da. Just saying a whole bunch of negative stuff when it comes to her, like basically downplaying, everything about Halle that we love and stuff like that. Yes, it's called a financial roleplay domination, but one has to be psychologically prepared because the roleplay involves blackmail. Yeah, I would take that shit too far. I would take it too far. I would really take it too far. My problem is I don't know when to stop playing. Cause like I would be serious. I would take that shit way too far. I've heard of stuff like that, like, oh, I want you to take my credit card and buy a shoes and purse with my daughter's tuition money. And if my wife finds out, I won't tell her I'm seeing you or something like that. Just some random shit. Like they want you to take advantage of. I would take that shit too far. I'd buy a house. You won't fuck with me no more. I would take it too far. So if you have the self control to do that, kudos to you. Um, Hold on. Let's see if I can find some of these other comments I saw when it comes to Hallie, because I definitely noticed a lot of these. Mm-hmm. I think I got the other one. This one says Hallie is not innocent. She was warned by the public and she constantly gaslit people and told them to mind their business. That's why she gets babied by people so much. So if you do have young looking privilege, if you have innocent privilege, petite privilege, anything that makes people not see you as a threat, you kind of have to look out for this because if you're the sweet girl that's always quiet and composed and one day you get upset, people are going to treat you like you're crazy. When there's people that walk into work every day mad and shit, but because that's just who they are, you won't think anything of it. So it's sad that whenever she comes out and says something, people are saying, "Oh, she's not so innocent anymore." Basically, just the Madonna horror complex. A lot of people are projecting that onto them. They already made her the Madonna because of her sister, the Disney stuff, and the way she presents herself. But now that she's a mother, they have to decide. Because when you're the maiden, you kind of have freedom to pick and choose what you want to do. But once you become a mother, is in the eyes of men, of course. Once you become the mother, you kind of have to pick a side. Because we're gonna decide: Are you wifey? Are you the girl we're gonna tell the other girls that they should be more like, even though we're still cheating on you too? Or are you the whore? Can I call you a single mother yet? And the men just felt like they could, so now they're saying that about her. And someone else says she knew better. Oh well, accept your new position as a baby mama. And that's a light skinned black. That person says light skinned black, not mixed. Woo. So a lot of people feel this way. I think the spiritual default of women is to be nude, and Rihanna is such a master of this. There's divine about her. What do you think about humiliation rituals? That's that eerie shit. No, for real. But Rihanna, I did a video about her when people were saying calling Beyonce a cash grab, but Rihanna be putting out new businesses too, and people think it's authentic when she does it, but Beyonce just want money when she do it. And it's all about the halo effect. It's about parasocial relationships, and it's about the cool girl aesthetic, the girl next door aesthetic versus the boss babe, the bombshell, the leader. When you're that type of woman, people will always be intimidated by you. And that's just how Beyonce is. So I already did a video about why people give. And then sometimes it's, I don't know what Rihanna got going on. The privilege is insane because I love her. I love her music. I think she's a sex symbol. But when it comes to her talent, um, and just certain things where it's like, it's not that there's anything wrong with Rihanna or anything like that. She's Rihanna. But there's certain things where if another woman was like that, they would not get praise. Like, even like when it comes to like Aaliyah, rest her soul, I feel like if Aaliyah was alive today, she would get canceled for shit. People would call her big back. Aaliyah was very thin, but she had a athletic body shape, if that makes sense. She was an inverted triangle, meaning her shoulders were wider than her hips. You know? So if Aaliyah was alive today, y'all would be calling her Funny Bill. So certain people, I wonder why they we have to study it. Why they have certain privileges that other people don't have. Rihanna don't got no ass and nobody calls her Funny Bill. So even when she gained weight, people don't talk shit about her. Everyone else gets talked shit about. Everyone. So whatever she's doing, she's doing it very, very well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some type of glamour spell and stuff like that. And then you said, what do I think about humiliation rituals? They're necessary. The men know how to do it. We already told y'all that they alleviating their energetic karma through the dominatrix. We already told y'all that they're doing that. Humiliation rituals are a necessity. You're not going to get anywhere if everyone likes you all the time. Now, the trick with the humiliation ritual is winning it, you know? Because if somebody, think about it, if you ever met somebody that was confident all the time, that's going to turn you off. You're going to think they're arrogant. But if you meet somebody that has a lot going on, but they're insecure about this or shy about that, or they don't know how talented they are in this area, you automatically find them more likable because you think they're more relatable. We all do it. So go ahead, do your humiliation ritual. Be a little quirky. Learn how to transmute negative energy so that you can, make money from the attributes that people think are negative about you. Humiliation rituals are key to success. That's why celebrities choose to do their own. So let's say if I'm Diddy and I know I'm gay, and I don't want nobody to know that I'm gay, I'll just put out a source to post some TMZ that I beat bitches. So now the public has punished me and forgive me, and I'm still alleviated from my sins, and nobody even knows what they really are. That's what they do. That's what a humiliation ritual is. The pit is called the pit and the pendulum. Everything to every action, there's another reaction. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I stump my toe, I walk into a wall, I break some glass, and I do some shit where it's like, damn, today's not necessarily bad. What the fuck is going on? I remember, oh, something good must be on the way because it's an equal give and take of both. It ain't bad all the time, it ain't good all the time. So, but a lot of people can't control when it's good and when it's bad. So what the celebrities do is they create their own humiliation ritual so they can get the bad out the way, and the next week they put out a new album like it never happened. So a lot of people are doing this. They just choose not to speak on it. And the people that do, y'all call them crazy. To be honest, I think DDG is gay and he is jealous of Ruby Rose and Hallie. I think he pushed Ruby to OnlyFans. Yep. And he got Hallie pregnant. Yep. He do this to ruin their reputation to make them less appealing to people. Yeah, because I didn't know who DDG was. Kind of always knew who Ruby Rose was, but she was somebody. You know what's crazy? I didn't even know that Ruby Rose made music. I thought she was just a baddie, and that was enough for me. Shit, Paris Hilton can be famous for being hot, so can Ruby Rose. Like leave black girls alone, or whatever she identify as. Um, but yeah, that's definitely something I picked up on. He was the one that told her to do OnlyFans, and I'm pretty sure he was the one that told Hadley to do the baby. So if you hate single mothers and whores, why do you keep creating them? It's a game, ladies. It's a game. So I'm just trying to put y'all on. It's a game. It's all a game. What's your sign? I'm a Pisces. I'm an Aries. Me and Rihanna have the same B-Day. We're the same people. Cute. Cute. Y'all love Ruby. I like some of her more like emotional music. Um, she has a song called "What Now." I really like that one. Um, she does this one song. I forget what it's called. I know like the beat and stuff, but So really, I think it's called like I don't know. I forget what it's called, but I like her more like the music. A lot of people don't know by her and stuff like that. That's how I listen to Beyonce too. Like I don't really listen to like single ladies and stuff like that. I listen to like her more, but she has a Scorpio moon, so I find myself listening to Beyonce more. Not her Virgo ass music where she's like a bombshell, but just more like her more emotional music. She has a lot of sensual music that a lot of people wouldn't even know. Oh, that's Beyonce. So I like listening to her stuff like that. I do find the comparison between Rihanna and Beyonce funny though because Virgo and Pisces are sister signs. So if you were on a live earlier where I said like my ex was a Sagittarius Sun Gemini Moon, which is insane because those are sister signs. They're opposites. I'm an Aries. My sister sign is Libra. We don't get along with them. Virgo and Pisces are sister signs, and they're just two opposite energies. So I find it funny that they're always compared to one another. Cowboy Carter too. Yeah, I listened to the album. I feel like I liked it, but I wouldn't want to listen to it again. Same thing with the Renaissance. The only song I like from Renaissance is All Up in Your Mind. That is definitely one of the songs where I say you couldn't even really tell it's Beyonce. She's definitely in her Scorpio moon bag because it's really dark, it's really moody. It's kind of like the crazy beat, like the beat that be saying shit like, if you love her so much, I can wear her skin on my skin. You know, when she was saying that because Daisy cheated. So she said she was going to skin a bitch and I'll just wear her skin so you want to touch her and not me. That's the crazy shit that Scorpio Moons be thinking. So I'll be listening to her music like that. I really like the Lemonade album. That's really what got me into Beyonce. Prior to Lemonade, I really wasn't into Beyonce because I just wasn't. You know, she never really caught my attention. But once I saw the Lemonade, I was like, "Ooh, she this is like resonating with me." And then I realized she was a Scorpio moon, and I was like, "Oh, that's where all the edginess is coming from." Kiss It Better is my fave. Yeah, I'm not really into R&B like that. My first genre of music wasn't rap, so I feel like if your first genre of music was rap, R&B is like a good counterpart for like softer music if you're not in the mood for something heavy. But that wasn't my first genre of music, so when it comes to Rihanna, I mean, I don't hate it, but I wouldn't play it. I prefer her more like edgy songs, you know, like Run This Town or something like that, like where she's more edgy. You know, I'm an Aries, so I really don't be listening to like R&B and shit. I like heavy metal. I like rap. I like things that make me feel fun and alive and animated, if that makes sense. Um, but I know a lot of people do like her more sensitive songs, her ballads and stuff like that. But I heard a rumor that not Beyonce. I heard a rumor that Rihanna isn't going to do another album because she lost her voice because she was smoking weed or whatever. Or, I don't know. I guess she lost her voice. So I heard like we're never going to get another Rihanna album unless it's AI. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for the album. Virgos can't stand you. Why not? The Virgos, they cool. I feel like there was a time in my life where I really was like into Virgos because I just think they're so smart and I was in like my education bag and I just wanted to learn things. And Virgos are the type of people you can just sit and talk to about anything deep. So I do like that about them. I feel like every sign has this it's ups and downs though. I actually dated a Virgo. There you go. I dated two Virgos. They're good lovers, but like it's something off with them. I feel like Virgo men, they have this obsession with their mothers and it's kind of weird. I don't think it's like a mama's boy. Like, you know how some boys are mama's boys and the mom will be mean to you and he won't say anything? Not like that, but more like Norman Bates. You guys ever seen Bates Motel or Norman Bates? Where he's like sensitive and he loves his mom so much that he start dressing up as her. Virgos be like Norman Bates when it comes to their mothers. I've definitely noticed that. It's just a little bit weird. And they be trying to fall in love too quick. They like to play house. They don't ever just want to get to know you, you know? They're like They're really serious lovers. But it's just like friends and stuff like that. Virgo's just cool. You just can't be around them too long. They start tweaking and shit. So, is everybody on the chat in Aries? Because I saw like two other people say that they're in Aries. Good night, Exotica Worship. I actually do. I forgot to answer one of your comments, but I actually would love to do a live with you. So, good night. But later, we definitely have to talk that out. So, don't forget about me. The goal is for the signs to operate at peak spirituality, heaven on earth. Yeah, definitely. So if you ever don't like a sign, you might not just not like them, which is okay. But if you ever really just don't like a sign, I would look up to see if you have any of those signs in your chart and try to figure out why. Because we really are just all evolutions of the last sign. That's why me being an Aries, I'm like the first. So that's why Aries are kind of crazy because we're just going off thin air, we're the first sign. And that's why Pisces are how they are. Rihanna's a Pisces. Pisces are like, there's something attractive about them because they represent like the death of like, the zodiac because they're the last sign. So they represent they're like the final boss, the final evolution of everything. So Pisces are very captivating, and that's why I'm a Pisces, free spirited. Too free spirited, and they're not. Oh. Virgo men creep me out. I have a Virgo brother. Yeah, they could definitely be creeps. You don't want to stay around them too long. They are they're some weirdos, I'm not gonna lie. They can be weird. If you just keep it business casual with them, you'll love them. They're great coworkers. Once you get intimate, they can be a little weird. Um it's the earth element. Yeah, they are. Yeah, Virgo, even like with Beyonce, she can be a little bit weird to me sometimes. Like Virgos are like they're kind of like masochist, so they just do certain things that's like weird. I feel like for the men, they just want to be of servitude. Virgos are like service workers. They want to do things for you, but sometimes it can be like overkill and it can be like kind of creepy. And I feel like the women do that too. Like they'll want to be everything for their man, but their man will still cheat. So I definitely pick up on that. Like when you think of Virgo energy, you really think the perfect lover. Like Beyonce, she tries to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect everything. And people still don't like her. People still think the worst in her. Versus Rihanna, she could do anything, smoke a blunt and leave the house with her titties out. No one will say anything. No one will say she's a bad mother because she's not married. No one will say all she does is smoke weed and she's lazy. She doesn't put out music. No one speaks bad on Rihanna. So I really do think it's about the appeal and perception. I definitely noticed that. But it needs to be studied. The way Rihanna, the way people perceive her, and I'm not saying it's bad. Who doesn't love Rihanna? Like, be for real. And if you're saying you don't, you're a liar. But I definitely think her appeal needs to be studied because that shit is beyond Halo effect. That's like the godly effect. Like she's really good at what she does. I've never seen anyone. I know back in the day people were like mean to her, but like within the last 5 years, maybe six, no one critiques Rihanna. People stay with a critique for Beyonce. People stay wanting to get her canceled. When Jay Z and Rihanna run in the same circles, so if one should get canceled, so should the other one. But I noticed that and you should probably look into that. If you're doing something where now a lot of people are meant to be the villain, like Nicki Minaj, the bad guy, and that's your role, and that's how you get people to support you because they believe in you and they want to fight with you. But some people don't have time for all that and they just want to alleviate things. And I feel like Rihanna, she's a genius at that. So if you're the type of archetype and you're in the public eye and you want to be perceived the way Rihanna is perceived, I would definitely study the way she does things. She's very effortless about it too. She knows how to seduce, but not in a sexual way, in a way where even a woman will find it alluring and want to be her friend. Yeah, and women are very boy crazy. They'll kill you behind. And girl, I feel like women that are like that are kind of like, cause who would want to catch a body over a nigga? Like, mm. I feel like women like that, those are extreme Eves. Women that really feel like a man is everything. And, like I know women that will stay with a guy and it's like, why don't you move on? And she'll be like, oh, I'm too old, or he does this for me. Or I know a girl, her boyfriend was in another relationship, right? And actually, like, why did you put up with him? Like, why don't you just move on? Like, I get you don't want to leave him, but why don't you just go do you? You know what I mean? And she was basically saying, I'm never gonna leave him. Like, I don't care who he fuck with. I'll just beat up all the bitches that he sleep with. I'm never ever leaving him. And some girls like that, I feel like it's insecurity. Like, and I don't think that she's insecure, like she can't move on, but insecure in herself as a woman. Because as a woman, you should feel self sufficient. And if a man want to come help you, he can help you. But if you feel like you need a man to live, that's some other shit. Like, that's definitely some other shit. If Virgos are dealing with the Madonna horror complex, Virgo is virgin consciousness, holy mother. Most definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. Even the men can be a little bit like, if you want to do some freaky stuff in the bedroom, don't marry a Virgo man. He ain't gonna do it with you. He might pay a hooker to do it, but he wants his wife to be just as pure as him, if not pure. The only way a Virgo man could be with a woman that's promiscuous is if he has other things in his chart that allow it, or if he's perverted himself and he's allowed all of his. The Virgo is only a virgin because they some freaks. A lot of people, you be wondering like, oh, why won't he do this in the bedroom? He's vanilla, da 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 da. Whole time, he really got some dark inhibitions in him, and he chooses not to feed into them because he won't be able to stop once he starts. So a lot of Virgos, they are very, very, very freaky. Like, dark, like pain, like they want pain and stuff like that. They're Virgos are very much masochists. They like to be of servitude. They like to be used. Like when it comes to their dark and vulnerable and sexual qualities, that's definitely what they give. So that's 100% facts. They like to do that for a masculine sign. If you're a feminine sign, they'll come for you. My mom is a Virgo. Oh, it's because she embraced herself. She stopped giving a fuck about what people think about her. Rumor is Beyonce did it. Beyonce did what? Mm-mm. But yeah, it's definitely the Madonna horror complex. That's what they're doing to my girl Hallie. And the only way that I feel like, and who cares what the public think? That girl gonna be just fine. But if she cares, the only way that I think that she will be able to, you know, win this game is if she plays into the mother role. She has to look, and I know a lot of black women that are single mothers. They do be really good moms, but to not fall into the single mother trap, you kind of have to either pull a Sierra and just say that prayer and get you a good man, or you have to make like him look bad. And I feel like he's already doing that to himself, making himself look bad. But a lot of people, their projection onto Hallie really started with her sister. So it started with Hallie's the good one, Chloe's the bad one. Chloe should be more like her sister Hallie. And now that Hallie's a single mother, it's flipped a little bit. And some people feel like they're both sellouts and that they should have listened to their father because their father didn't want them to sign with Beyonce. And ever since they started doing that, and ever since they broke up and were doing their own things, people feel like they've been over sexualized and not protected, and that their father protected them. This because they've been out for a minute, and you never heard a scandal about these girls. They vegans, they got dreadlocks, they don't bother nobody. They seem like sweet, wholesome, all American girls. And I really believe that the projection of the horror came onto her from her sister. And now that they both have quote unquote fallen from grace, they really can't go back to that innocent archetype. A lot of people feel like, and if you just go to any of the comment sections on Instagram, everyone's saying, Hallie sounds so innocent. I knew she wasn't so innocent. Why do you think they perceived her that way in the first place? And why is it such an insult for innocence to be taken away? Because let me tell you this, innocence is ignorance. Innocence is ignorance. It's vulnerability. It's not knowing what's going on. When someone says, oh, that's so cute, what they really mean is that's so stupid. when a dog runs into a window, or a baby thinks that a toy apple is a real apple, we say it's cute, but we really mean it's stupid. So when people say, "Oh, you're so innocent, you're so cute," that can be a compliment, but 9 times out of 10, they're just saying, "You look vulnerable. You look like I could do something to you, and you wouldn't even know what's going on," and that makes it more fun to do it to you. That's why men hate sex workers nowadays. Back in the day, you could just take a girl coochie, murder her, don't even pay her, you know? But nowadays, girls got the OF. So, they can do whatever they want from the comfort of their phone and buy a house and be happy. And men can't find a way to, like punish them type shit. So men have been doing this since the beginning of time. It's really not going to change unless women decide not to. And I don't want to put it all on women, because niggas going to do what niggas do no matter what women do. But if you do want to be a part of the change, you have to get rid of that. So I'm not saying, you know, push the application in at the strip club or nothing, but the more you don't listen to sex workers, the more you don't listen to women that actually know men, older women, all the old aunties that tried to tell Hallie who this man was, the more life gonna be fucked up for us as a whole. And DDG, City Boy's up because he took down a queen. He really, and I'm not saying the baby is anything bad. That is a blessing. And if you know anything about that couple, one, they're a young couple. They just some kids, so I'm really not going to be hard on her or DDG. But if you know anything about both of them, they both wanted to be young parents, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just personally feel like, City Boy's up because he took out a woman who was a symbol to us and to black girls' innocence. A black girl being a Disney princess, Ariel at that, a mermaid, one of the most historically significant, accurations of like a feminine person. Like when you think of mermaid, you think of femininity. You just do. So the fact that a black girl could be that, if she end up a single mother, that's like a fetish for niggas. That's like a fetish. That's why some people will molest you before you even know what sex is, because they want to take something from you. A lot of men, that's their fetish. If you go to porn, the most popular porn is the not even like BDSM, but just like degradation. Like, oh, it's my 18th birthday. Come watch me be a fatherless, whatever. Like they love that shit. They love it. What they say they hate in women, they create every single day. They don't want it to stop. It's insane. So, she's a young girl. I know she was in love, but she definitely fell into that trap. Most definitely. And honestly, I think Hallie's gonna be just fine. I don't think we gotta worry about her. But when it comes to her image, the only way she can like level up is if she, you know, decides to do like, and I don't think she needs, and that's another thing. I know a lot of people are saying she should pull a Sierra and do a Russell Wilson, but I kind of don't like that because that's so male centered. Why does she need another man to validate that she's not a worthless single mother? Like, why does she need that? Why does she need to marry anybody to validate that? But just in the eyes of the general public, so that she doesn't have that stigma on her anymore, that would be one of the ways to do it. Or she would just have to level up so hard that just the thought of DDG being connected to her was a joke. But at this point, you had his baby. That's your first boyfriend you was ever connected to. So any nigga you get with after him was gonna be the second boyfriend, the rebound. So I don't know. She kind of got a lot of hoops to go through. If I was her, I wouldn't mention it. People are gonna say what they want to say in the comments, but right now, her being quiet, that's the smartest thing she can do. What is your definition of God? Um, I think that word means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and to define it would be kind of hard because I don't know. I feel like I'm in a place right now spiritually and like religiously where I'm kind of if you're a Christian, they call it lukewarm, but if you're just a regular person, I feel like I'm in the middle. I feel like when I say things like the devil, I really don't genuinely mean Satan. And who knows? Maybe I do. Maybe that nigga's listening right now. He laughing, thinking I don't know he exists. But when I say the devil, I don't really mean the devil. I just mean evil. Evil is real, regardless of what you believe in. And there's some things that are just bad. So when I say the devil, I mean that. And in opposition, when I say God, I mean just that. And anything that is real, anything that hasn't been mutilated or anything like that. So when I say like God, like I don't mean any specific God or any specific anything like that. And 9 times out of 10, if you guys want to know my personal spiritual practices, I work with a lot of feminine deities. So that would be goddess. So but when I do say God, I guess it would be smart to categorize it, especially when having these type of conversations. When I'm talking about God in terms of like Adam and Eve and Jesus, I do mean the God of the Bible. But even that is kind of hard to explain because a lot of people feel like in the Bible, the New Testament and the Old Testament, that those are two completely different gods. And I low key believe that because the God in the First Testament was a lot more meaner than the God in the second one. So a lot of people already feel like in Christianity alone, it's already two gods. And to say if the God said don't put other gods before me, that implies there are other gods. So the word gods, it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, honestly. But me personally, in fact, I wanted to do a video on this, you guys, but it's just so complex. And the way I gathered this information was from different forms of long media, like long form media. So I don't know how I would compress it to a 25-minute video, you know? So that's kind of why I wanted to do the lives. I just have to be more prepared next time and have all this information. But there's this guy, his channel, I forget the name right now, but he goes over biblical texts and stuff like that. He knows Aramaic and Latin and Hebrew, so he can read the text in the original form. So I love watching his videos. But he goes over a lot of different things. So I'm gonna pull from him. And then there's another girl, she's like an African spiritualist, and she talks about stuff like that too. So when it comes to God, there's just a lot of different shit going on. It's really just a lot. And I think that it really doesn't matter. I honestly think that everything is one and the same anyway. As long as you're calling on something that is pure and of a higher being than you, to most people, that's just what God is, you know? And if you watch those movies where it's the end of the world, the people be calling aliens God. To some people, God is whoever answered their prayers. But when I say God, for the most part, if I'm not talking about Christian stuff for the most part, I really just mean the Most High, like, and not like in any hotep type of way or anything like that. But I believe we all got here somewhere. You know, I believe in the Big Bang. I just think that it was intentional. And before the Big Bang, there were different energies and entities that created concepts of things that, like, thinking. There was once upon, like, even when you look at the zodiac, for example, Aries is called the baby of the zodiac. So Aries can be kind of blunt. We can be kind of rash. We don't really think things through. Kind of like a baby. Whereas Pisces, they're the most seductive because they're the last one. They've evolved through everything. They got a little bit of everything going on. They know how to pull out what when they need to. So that's kind of how I think about like gods and stuff like that. Like I think there's so many different ones, but they're all just different evolutions of each other at the end of the day. So that's just my personal opinion, if that makes any sense. Well, that was a really good question, though. And then when it comes to this, actually the show, and it's called The Magicians. I don't know if you guys heard of it. There's a few seasons. Long story short, it's about these magicians that go to this college or whatever. But there's like one episode, and I don't know if you guys watch like a lot of TV shows, but in a lot of really cool TV shows, they'll do one season where everything is super trippy, and it's like they made it just for the potheads. Like I don't know, like that. This the season of this magicians was so trippy. It was insane. Every episode was like some trippy spiritual shit. And that's another thing. If you're spiritual, you don't gotta do drugs or drink or anything. But if you do, smoke a blunt. Watch a crazy movie and see how your brain wake up. So not everybody wants to read books and learn Aramaic to understand biblical text. You're totally allowed to get high and watch the Passion of the Christ and figure it out on your own. So there's levels to that as well. But in the show The Magicians, there was a scene where there was every god that you can think of. There was Asian Jesus. You ever see Asian people that's Christians? I'd be like, why? What's wrong with your God? You don't fuck with Buddha in them? So I always found that interesting, like a Christian Asian. Black people, we were slaves. We was forced to be Christians. That's why a lot of us are still stuck in them shackles. That's why hoteps be like, we was kings, because they don't want to be around, white Christianity no more. But when I see an Asian person be a Christian, I'd be like, damn, like, you don't fuck with Buddha in them? Like, what's wrong with them? So I just find that interesting. But it basically in the TV show, there was a different Jesus for everyone. Any Jesus that was prayed to existed. It manifested somewhere. So there was black Jesus, white Jesus, Asian Jesus. There were other different gods there. Oshun, Kali, all the different gods and goddesses were like in a little part of the episode, which I found very, very interesting. I think it's kind of like the boogeyman. If you believe it exists, then it do. If you don't, then it doesn't. So God, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Yeah, that was definitely a good question, though. Oh my God, I can't believe we've been on live for like over 3 hours. It says I have 6 viewers. So if y'all got any questions, let me know. Um, I'm gonna try to clip some of the stuff that we talked about because I really loved you guys' questions and um everyone's responses and everything. So I'm gonna try to clip some of these so I can put it like in another video. But that'll probably take a while because I have to watch the playback and stuff. But Brittany Love says, yeah, it was a good show. Oh, thank you guys. I'm really glad you enjoyed it because sometimes I'll be talking like this woo woo stuff and I'll be hoping I don't sound like a crazy lady. So I'm glad I had my little pictures and stuff ready so certain things can make more sense. But definitely expect more spiritual videos. I'm not going to get too off topic. I'm definitely going to be able to tie them into race and gender and, you know, just our everyday lifestyles to where it still makes sense. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Well, all right, I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm probably gonna do some scripting for some videos tomorrow. So I'll just write down like what I'm thinking while I'm still thinking it, and then I'll just go ahead and record the videos tomorrow so you guys can have it. And that's if no more drama pops up in the exotical community because I've had like all these videos, like the Hallie video and stuff. I have all these video ideas, and I just haven't got around to it because there's been so much drama like in the YouTube community. Whenever I want to make a video for fun, that's just something fun and interesting, some drama will pop up, and I'll have to stop what I'm doing and make a video on that while it's still a hot topic. So let's hope nothing pops up until then. But yeah, definitely be expecting some more stuff like this. And I really did like the video on racial ambiguity and how it relates to global appeal because I feel like that's where a lot of the animosity comes into when it comes to exoticals. People be mad that you can move in and out of certain ethnicities, or even if you're not ambiguous or you are monoracial or both, if you are multicultural, if you are intelligent, you can hold conversations about anything. People be jealous of that. Whether you can hang out with the nerds and the popular people, or you racially ambiguous and you can hang out with the whites and the blacks, whether it's race or not. If you have a certain privilege and certain access to certain things, people will be jealous of you. So when people say stuff like, about Exoticals United and the bleaching and stuff like that, I'd be like, yeah, so what? Like, I'm not saying bleach your skin is beautiful, but nobody cares when white girls tan and be looking orange. Nobody cares when they fight their hair bleach blonde, and we already know what blonde hair symbolizes. So that's just something where it's like if you do want to have and you don't have to do your skin and your hair. There's different ways to have global appeal, you know. I notice even in cartoons when they draw black girls, she can be black, but they'll give her green eyes or yellow eyes or purple hair or something like that to give it more of like a you don't know what it is kind of like racial ambiguity. There's an attractiveness to it for a reason. I'm glad you did this. I never had friends in my life I could talk to about this stuff. Yeah, I totally know the feeling. Totally. I definitely know that feeling. Like, if I wasn't on live right now, I would probably just be like studying, watching movies, pulling up other stuff that I know about, and making connections, having epiphanies. That's why my channel is called that. So, all of this stuff is stuff that I came up with a long time ago. And I like to say I fell down the rabbit hole when I was 12. I didn't have a typical childhood. I was always very mature for my age. Um, and my first love, my first obsession was information. Honestly, you guys, once I saw the Da Vinci Code, it was over for me. It was done, like I couldn't help it. And I started with like, and I know Illuminati is a big deal nowadays, but back in like my freshman year of high school was like 2012. I think like, yeah, like 2012. Because I remember people used to say the world was going to end, and I remember it's like at my freshman year we were in the cafeteria and everyone hid under the tables because we thought we were all going to die. But I remember around that time there was like the Mayan calendar, and that's why people thought they were going to die. So the Illuminati stuff was kind of big at that time too. But there wasn't a lot of information. There was no TikTok. There was when you Google Illuminati, old stuff would come up, not a whole bunch of videos of young people talking about it, which I kind of miss that. Back in the day, when you Google something, only the real popped up. Now, a whole bunch of shit pop up that's really nothing to do with what you just Google. So back in the day, it was a lot easier to find more concentrated information that hasn't been picked apart or diluted already. So I've been studying this stuff for a really, really long time, and I did not always have someone to, you know, let alone agree with me, disagree with me, believe me. So definitely it means a lot to me. Thank you for the pandering predators, the wife beater smile. Girl, or if you're a girl, guy, I don't know. But I got that video from this African lady, very pretty lady. She's on TikTok. If maybe you see her if you type in wife beater smile, I don't know. But she be going in. She has this book. It's called Men Look for Women the Same Way Predators Look for Prey, and it's 110% correct. So if a man ever call you cute or innocent, just know he think you easy to be played with. Most definitely. And I can, the same way a guy can tell if a girl is, not an Eve, he can tell if she's a Lilith. A girl should be able to tell. Now, all men are capable of being predators, but some men already are. And I can always tell if a nigga beat bitches. I can just tell because they be cool as hell. Niggas that beat bitches be cool as hell, bro. Same thing with hoes. Niggas say, I know she a hoe because she too cool. Hoes be so cool. I don't know what it is. And so let's say a guy beats you or something. Maybe a guy in a club, ex boyfriend, I don't know, whatever, and he's pop. Niggas that beat bitches have lots of female friends. They do. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. Niggas that beat bitches are in their feminine and they have lots of female friends that will condone it. So I've definitely seen it. I can always tell when a nigga beat bitches. He look like he got some sugar in his tank. He a little bit feminine. And they be pretty. Pretty boys do be beating bitches. Like I'm not trying to like, put nobody in a box or nothing, but like that's all I've noticed. My cousin gave me the book. She's a Scorpio. It really opened up my mind for real. What book you talking about? But yeah, I can always tell. Literally, it'd be something off, or I can tell when a nigga like kids or young girls. You can just tell. Like once you start studying men, and you don't listen to what they say. You listen to what they do. You look at who they follow. Once you start like this one guy, he was a father. This girl on TikTok was telling a story that her father wouldn't let her dye her hair blonde. He just wouldn't let her do it. He wouldn't let her do it. One day she go to his laptop. She was trying to print something off, and she sees his porn, and it's women that look like her but blonde, and teenagers. So yeah, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and log off. I really appreciate you guys being here for me, and listening to all the gibberish I have to say, and all the interesting questions you guys asked and the things that you taught me too. So I really did enjoy that. And if someone's watching this later, watching the playback, I can't believe you sat through 4 hours of me talking. So thank you to you too. But I might go live again later tomorrow. We'll see. I'll try to give you guys a heads up. I'm surprised any of you are still up right now. But I'll definitely try to go live again tomorrow. But next time I'll be a little bit more prepared with the information so you guys can have it. So thank you again and have a beautiful night.